You see what it is? I went why aren't they using it after that? Right. If they were to use that, then it wouldn't look like a lot of jobs. I was happy to get out of it. Oh yeah, I just saw him back there. He probably won't stick around. Somebody will ask him first. He cost me money. I have the license by the way, discarded. How do you discard the most influential there's a story that I haven't heard. He actually did a little something out there. That's why he was got really. They really didn't know they actually lied. I think in court too with the statute. He was there. He don't want to hear this job. He's probably the one.
Her sister-in-law, Babe is my, so Mike's
Okay.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't know how many of them.
There's a story somebody should write. You know what? I bet you know your What'd you say?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We ask you to please rise for the opening prayer and pledge allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, we celebrate this day of life in the beautiful area that we call home, the majestic mountains, vibrant with their colors, the beautiful forest, our walking trails, the streams that are full of fish, and the stunning scenery. We thank you that you are perfectly faithful. You stand on your promises and never fail us. You instruct us to bring everything to you in prayer. So many times our prayers are filled with what we want instead of being thankful for what we have. Let us be eternally grateful for the blessings you have bestowed upon us. During this Thanksgiving season, remind us to give thanks to you, Lord. Lord, you're the great physician. We pray for those that are sick, that they may be fully restored to health. We pray for strength for the families, the frontline workers, and all the professionals that are assisting those that are ill. We pray that you will eradicate this invisible enemy that continues its path of destruction. Father, so many are hurting and experiencing difficulties, but you have promised never to leave us or forsake us, and we take refuge in your love and protection. Lord, you instruct us in your word not to be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present our request to you. May we in this Thanksgiving season and each day throughout the year remember and follow these words. Father, we're thankful that Commissioner Massar is with us this morning. We ask you to continue with his healing and his health. Now, Lord of peace and understanding, may you pour your grace, love, and healing upon our communities. These things we humbly pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll convene the Commissioners' public meeting at this time and ask for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll move to approve. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. At this time, we have a full agenda today, and we normally do public comment at this time. However, we're going to move that down a little bit to when we get to the information items, or excuse me, the action items and the informational items. Before the information items, we'll do that. We want to do the proclamations first, and then do the county department information series, and the personnel actions and the accounts payable with Brady Clemens, and then we'll do the public comments on agenda items only at that time. Okay, so moving on, we'll do the first proclamation. Item 1.6. The proclamations for Infant Safe Sleep Month. Whereas the safety of children in Lycoming County is of the utmost importance, and whereas thousands of infants in the United States die each year due to placement in unsafe sleeping environments. Infant fatalities caused by unsafe sleeping environments are entirely preventable, and whereas the safest sleeping environment for infants is alone in an empty crib while lying on their back with a tightly fitted sheet, as well as warm, comfortable sleepwear. And whereas the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development provides family members and child care providers with access to resources about creating safe sleeping environments for infants on their website. And now, therefore, the Commissioners of Lycoming County do hereby proclaim the month of November 2021 as Infant Safe Sleep Month in Lycoming County, and encourage the community to spread awareness of how to keep and create a safe sleeping environment for young children throughout the county. And when this is whereof, we have set our hands and sealed the 16th day of November 2021. Lycoming County Commissioners Scott R. Metzger, Chairman, Tony R. Massar, Vice Chairman, and Richard Marabito, Secretary. We have the coroner, or deputy coroner here at this time.
He's back here.
Okay. He's hiding. Okay, come on up, please. I'd like to have both of you speak on this important topic.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I did not expect all you faces. So, about 3,500 babies in the U.S. die each year from sleep-related deaths. Often these deaths are due to sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, or accidental deaths from suffocation or strangulation. Since 2019, Lycoming County has had 4 little boys and 1 little girl die in unsafe sleep environments. Creating a safe sleep environment for your baby is the best way to assure that they are protected from a sleep-related injury or fatality. Safe sleep steps can be as easy as A, B, C. Babies should be alone, on their backs, in a safety-approved crib with a tightly fitted sheet and nothing else for every nap time and every bedtime. Your baby should share your room but not your bed for the first year of life. Despite common misconceptions, car seats, strollers, swings, and infant carriers are not for sleeping. If your baby falls asleep in one of these devices, you should move your baby to a firm sleep surface as soon as possible. Some additional safety tips: if you choose to swaddle your baby should be swaddled on his or her back and should not be swaddled too tight. Discontinue swaddling when baby shows readiness to roll over. Do not smoke, use illicit drugs, or drink alcohol during pregnancy or after your baby is born. If possible, breastfeed your baby, as breastfeeding is associated with a reduced risk of SIDS. Make sure your baby is getting lots of supervised tummy time to strengthen upper body muscles to reduce the risk of SIDS and to prevent flat head syndrome. Use caution when buying baby products. Most products being sold claim that they are safe, but many are not. When possible, always purchase new baby items and make sure to fill out and submit the registration cards that come with them to keep updated with recall information. Lastly, for those of you that are unaware, the Lycoming County Coroner's Office partnered with the Cribs for Kids program in Pittsburgh back in 2008. This partnership is in thanks in big part to our coroner, Chuck Kiesling, and his wife, Gail, a labor and delivery nurse of 43 years. It was their passion for saving the lives of children, as well as the passion of many others in our community, that has made the program sustainable with donations and grant funding. In protecting the children of our community, I think, especially with recent events that we've had in our community, we know it takes a village. Thank you to both of you, as well as our commissioners, for being a part of it. If you or someone you know is in need of a safe sleep environment, please contact us and we will assist you in obtaining one.
Thank you, Kate.
Thanks, Kate. I'll just echo what she already said, but thank you, commissioners, and thanks everyone that's participating in this program. It's been in place since 2008, and we clearly have saved infant lives in our communities with the program. So, again, thanks for supporting that program. We keep it going with grant funding, and it's been a worthwhile program to keep going.
Do we have little Chuck over here in the corner?
Yeah, we've got a safe sleep display over here, so nice to see that. Eric, are you here to also present the state proclamation?
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Eric.
Eric Hauser on behalf of State Representative Joe Ham. He couldn't be here this morning. He's in Harrisburg today, but he asked that I present this resolution from the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, and I won't reread it because it says almost the identical language that Commissioner Metzger used, but I just want to raise awareness to this issue, and we thank the commissioners for their support for it and raising awareness, and thank you to Chuck and Gail for everything they've done to do it and to recognize November as Infant Safe Sleep Month in Pennsylvania. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Senator, do you have a...
Go back to the council.
Senator, do you have one?
Not for the.
I thought it was for... Yeah, that's what I thought.
Thank you.
Okay, item 7.1, proclamation, 30-year service to Evelyn Derrick.
Maybe Evelyn could come to the podium escorted by several of the board members from the library system. This is a surprise, she said. Well, we hope it is, and we hope it's a good surprise. So this is a proclamation for Evelyn Derrick. Whereas the County of Lycoming and the Lycoming County Library System would like to express their deep appreciation to Evelyn Derrick for her 33 years of service, both as a board member since 1984 and as an officer in the position of Secretary for the Lycoming County Library System Board. And whereas during your years in governance, the library system grew in many ways, such as developing a cooperative countywide plan, outreach services, link library locations, literacy services, and many successful grant programs and improvements. And whereas some major achievements of the Lycoming County Library System during your leadership, establishment of a union catalog and integrated library system, countywide GED and family literacy services, Storymobile, Bookmobile, and Link libraries, leadership development for staff and trustees, grants for library services and improvements. Now, therefore, we, the Lycoming County Commissioners, do hereby recognize your devotion and efforts, and recognize the efforts of Evelyn Derrick, and commend her on her many years of service to the Lycoming County Library System and our community. Signed, Lycoming County Commissioners, Scott L. Metzger, Chairman, Tony Armiser, Vice Chairman, Richard Marabito, Secretary. Evelyn, thank you so much for all the years that you gave to this community, and literally the tens and thousands of lives that you've impacted, as well as the young people in the library board who you've brought up, the people here with us today. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words?
Oh, well, it really hasn't been an effort. I've loved doing it. We were raised to give back to the community, and this is my way of doing that. Besides, I'm very passionate about literacy, especially preschool literacy. So it's just been a joy.
Or I don't know whether any of the members of the board would like to make any comments. You don't have to, but... So many of the programs that we take for granted today, like the Storymobile, like the Bookmobile, like the Link libraries, which were the libraries in the outer reaches, we take them for granted because they've been here, but they're here because people like Evelyn, specifically Evelyn, spent 33 years working day in and day out. And we can't thank you enough. And it's important, as you said, to try to give back. And it's also important for us to try to remind people of how we got where we are, so we don't forget it. Thank you.
Evelyn, I'd like to thank you also. Yeah, you said it wasn't an effort because of your love and passion for what you were doing, and that's what is a joy about it.
Yes.
And whatever you volunteer for, whoever it is in the community, you want to have that passion, you want to have that love, and you obviously had it. So we want to thank you. You did touch thousands of lives, and thank you for your service. And you're an example that all of us can follow in volunteerism and giving back to our communities. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'll ditto that remark. Many times we were at library board meetings and you were always there. You were a huge advocate of the library, but not just the library. How important is it that we support our youth and early learning? This is where we need to stick these dollars. We need to be able to teach our youth, and get them started early. So it's always nice seeing a smile on your face, and we really commend you for your dedication to the entire system.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to do a photo of
I'll use one of those cases.
I was going to say, we have...
Okay, action 1.8, or correction, item 1.8, County Department Informational Series. What they do for you will continue on in this series with the Register and Recorder's Office. Dave.
Morning, Dave. Just for the general public, what we started to do a series earlier this year on each department, what they did for the county, and we've had each different departments come and present how they assist the public and what they do for the public each and every week. So I'm glad to have Dave here from the Recorder's Office, Register and Recorder's Office, and we have a few more departments to go before the end of the year, and then we're going to be going in a different direction with some of our nonprofits and what they do for the communities and going into next year. So thank you, Dave, for being here.
Thank you. It's good to be here and a part of this series. And good morning to everyone. The topic today, as we know, is the Register and Recorder Office. What I'd like to do is let you know how I'm going to proceed. I would like to cover, starting out, just the three basic, distinct and separate areas within the Register and Recorder Office. Then I'd like to give you three challenges, and then I'll end up with three stories. And that should do it. So let's start off with those three separate and distinct areas within our department. First of all, we have the Register of Wills. That deals primarily with probating estates and inheritance tax issues. Secondly, we have the Recorder of Deeds area. That's everything that has to do with records, what most people know as property and real estate. And then, last but not least, the Orphans Court. And that has marriage licenses and other areas that involve guardianships and adoptions. So I know that's a very simple way to talk about these areas. They're very involved, but at least we want to keep it basic for our purposes today. So let's talk about a few challenges. All right, and the first challenge is the information that we need to talk about with the public. And actually, it's the reason I'm here today, is to provide you with some basic knowledge about the department. It's the reason we have this series, so that you can learn more about all these different departments, because there is a need for that. I can't tell you how many times somebody has come up to me and asked me, Dave, how are things going in the Prothonotari's office? And of course, I'm tempted to say, oh, great, wonderful. But I have to stop and explain it. So if we had the ability to get out there and inform or educate more, I think we're that much better off. And that's why we've updated our webpage this year, spent a lot of time on that. And that's why I plan to get out into the public more next year, attending various meetings within municipalities and other speaking possibilities. And that's why we want to do everything we can to spread the word. All right, the second area that we have that's more of a challenge is with our computers. Now, why is that such a challenge? Well, we live in a technological age, and there are things that have to be done. We have two individual, separate software companies, and there's always something. Updates, different systems and methods that you have to learn, and it can be challenging at times, especially when you have two software companies that you're dealing with. And so what you see, or what most people see from the outside, is just when you come in to use the computers, it's the operational side, you see what happens on that end. But I can tell you, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes where information has to be loaded into the computer, scanned, indexed, not only within our department, but with our software company. And that all has to be controlled and monitored, and it can be a challenge at times. It's very time consuming, and it's of course a responsibility that we take very seriously. And then the third item would be the fiduciary responsibility that we have. And that's perhaps the most important. I believe it is the most important. We are a revenue producer for the county. And every day we have deposits. Many times, I can tell you, sometimes 130, 140 in one day, separate entries with a deposit. It's very time consuming, and there has to be controls to monitor everything for security purposes and for all other purposes. And we have our monthly reports to do for the state. We have reconciling from the controller's office once a month. In fact, Jenny is coming this afternoon, so we're getting ready for her. And just the overall daily responsibility for fiduciary is a big thing. And of course, we want to keep the costs down and the fees low to benefit everyone throughout the county. That is a key factor too. All right, so let's end up with just a few stories. This is my favorite part of the presentation. And these stories have to do, it just so happens to be talking about marriage license area. Now we have stories in all areas, but let's talk about marriage licenses. And this first example is has something to do with when you have to work within a system that's imperfect. All right, so last year we had a situation where a 16-year-old came in to buy a marriage license. And so we followed the guidelines, the law, as it was at that time for Pennsylvania. You have to have one parent consent. So that was a big factor in all this. So that parent consented. We sold the license, but that's not the end of the story. Guess what? The other parent didn't like the idea. So yes, I had to field many phone calls over a period of a few weeks. And that wasn't the end of it either. There was another relative that wasn't happy about it. And they drove down to the courthouse to complain. But at the time, it just so happened the courthouse was closed due to COVID. So they couldn't get in. And I must say this, everything worked out fine. We handled it diplomatically. And then, just coincidentally, the law changed. Now, you have to be 18 to get married in Pennsylvania, or to buy a marriage license and to get married. So, and that was just a pure coincidence. However, I can tell you after that, when I knew that law was changing effective July 1st of last year, there were still several weeks where I was worried another 16-year-old would come in. But so that's one story that I wanted to share with you of interest. A second story is, this is an example of how you have to use creative problem solving. And that was when the courthouse was shut down, and we had to think of a creative way to sell the marriage licenses, because both applicants are to be present and so on in person. So, what did we do? That was a tough one. You've heard of outdoor marriages, outdoor weddings. Well, we did outdoor marriage licenses. So, fortunately, the Register and Recorder's office is on the first floor, and it's a corner office with windows that you can open, and so we made it work, and we made it work well. We even had some at certain times we had some flowers just as a goodwill gesture, and I think for the most part it was tough, but it was enjoyable, something different, and so that was a creative solution to the problem, and that's what you have to do sometimes. So then the third one, and I'll end with this, but this is more near and dear to me, this example, and this shows you how you need to go sometimes above and beyond to help people, and that's the theme that's the policy that we have in our office, because that's what it's all about, really, when it comes right down to it. And sometimes you have to go that extra mile. And I'll share this with you, and I want you to know that this is the last thing that I didn't talk to my father much about work-related issues, but I did talk to him about this one thing. It was the last conversation I had with my father. I shared this with him, and then after I shared this with him, we hung up the phone, and then he just a couple weeks later died unexpectedly of a heart attack. And again, this is the last thing I talked to him about. Now, I was sitting at my desk one day, and the phone rings. I pick it up, and it's someone from the hospital. They sound very desperate, and they said to me, "We need help. I have the chaplain sitting with me, and we just said a prayer before we made this phone call, and we're hoping somebody can help us." What happened was, there was somebody in the hospital that was dying from cancer, and they weren't expected to live very long. They just had a matter of days to live, and they actually died a week later. And so they said, this person's dying wish is to get married to someone that he's been with for 41 years. And, I had to see if I could help them in some way. So I said, I'll see what I can do. I hung up the phone, and I made some calls to the solicitor and talked to some other people in other counties, and okay. It's a tough one. We had to go the extra mile and do a lot more, but we made it happen. I had to go to the hospital, and I had to, verify that it was that person, and to see if they were of sound mind, to make that decision, and interview that person. That was a kind of an emotional experience, and then I had to get confirmations from the hospital as well, in writing. But in the end, that person did get their dying wish. And I guess, that's that is the essence of it all, ladies and gentlemen. That is why every one of these departments are here, to serve you in that manner, to go the extra mile and to help however we can. Okay, on that note, I conclude on more of a happy note, or happy topic in that I plan to be back here in 2 weeks because we are going to get an award for the county from our software company for something that we accomplished that took us well over a year to do, and sacrificed a lot of our time and efforts and so on and so on. But I'll keep you in suspense. But I hope you can join us in a couple of weeks for a happy occasion. Thank you all for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dave. At this time, we're going to jump ahead to information item 4.1. We have the PA Wilds here, and we have Senator Yaw here for the presentation. So we'd like to have Jason and the Senator come forward at this time to do the presentation. Okay, great. Thank you, Lakeisha Nar, for being here.
You're welcome. Good morning, everyone. I am Lakeisha Nar, the Entrepreneurial Ecosystem Director for the Pennsylvania Wilds Center. Each year, the Pennsylvania Wilds Center and the Pennsylvania Wilds Planning Team recognizes individuals, groups, organizations, communities, and businesses that in the last year have made significant contributions to help grow and sustainably develop the outdoor recreation economy and nature tourism in the Pennsylvania Wilds by marrying conservation and economic development goals. These prestigious awards are typically presented at our annual dinner, but because of the virus, we're not holding the dinner this year, and we wanted to bring the award celebrations to the county level to celebrate them with the communities and our county commissioners. The artists, entrepreneurs, and volunteers who are honored in these awards are involved in these different pursuits have shown pride in our region and commitment to our natural assets and our communities. They have also been both resilient and resourceful in the face of the pandemic. These are traits that are uplifted in our very own brand principles. Special thanks to the county commissioners for allowing us to present the Champion Award at this meeting today, and to state legislators' offices for joining us in recognizing the accomplishments of our local champions. We will continue to celebrate the 2021 PA Wilds Champion Award winners virtually via PA Wilds platforms and social media, and we hope that this new format will allow others to join us in celebrating these champions. So today, I'm here with Senator Jean Yaw, Jason Fink from the Lycoming County Visitors Bureau, Eric Hauser from Representative Joe Ham's office, Kate Brock, our board chair, and Jerry Walls, who is a part of the planning team and a retired Lycoming County planner. So the award we're presenting today is the Business of the Year Award to Wolf General Store located in Slate Run. The Business of the Year Champion Award honors a new or existing business owner that has taken bold steps to grow their business in a way that embodies what it means to marry conservation and economic development and to offer an authentic experience or product to visitors and residents. So I'm going to invite up the legislators in their offices here in a moment, but I'm just going to also just read a little bit about Wolf General Store as they were nominated by Jerry Walls. And so this is the description that was submitted with the nomination. Tom and Debbie Finkbeiner owned and operated the Wolf General Store at Slate Run on Pine Creek for 45 years and recently sold it to a local couple, Kim and Tom Kozlowski, who will continue to operate both the general store and the famous Slate Run tackle shop. The tackle shop became a very strong asset for trout fishermen who were attracted from all over the eastern United States. Tom helped to lead the citizen support for the formal designation of portions of Pine Creek and several other tributary streams as wild trout exceptional value streams by the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. Deb operated and managed the general store, offering all the supplies that campers and fishermen and visitors needed. Together, they were a treasure trove of important information and help for visitors and for input to township and Lycoming County planning deliberations. They own a home on Pine Creek Valley just north of Slate Run and continue to help out at the store. The economic impact on the Pine Creek Valley and beyond has been enhanced by the Finkbeiners enterprise. Tom has advocated to develop a section of Pine Creek, now known as the Stretch, in which trophy trout are stocked in addition to Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission stockings. This has attracted fishermen from all over the country. Tom has also formed a 501c3 nonprofit organization which fishermen can donate to, and their mission is to stock above average German brown trout several times during the season. Congratulations to the Wolf General Store for this award, and the legislator's office if you guys would like to come up and recognize them.
Morning, Senator.
Morning, Commissioner. Thank you. This is, I don't know, I'm looking at the people here in the audience, and it's almost like a kind of a homecoming type thing. I mean, I've been to the store, I know Jerry Walls, Kate Brock, I see a Straub Brewery sweatshirt over there. For many of you who don't know, Straub Brewery has been a big supporter of the brown trout stocking of this, that part of Slate Run. The comments have already been made. I will say this is a first for me, though. It is the first citation of any kind that I have ever given to a thing. This citation goes to the store. It does not go to any individual. So I don't know, whether you want to take it home once in a while and put it. Otherwise, next time I come to the store, I hope it has a prominent place in the store, because this citation really is. It is unique in the fact that with the store that you have run, and it has a reputation all over. You mentioned Slate Run, Wolf's General Store. I mean, everybody knows it. So congratulations to you, and it's a great pleasure to be associated with this in some small way. And I'll just read the end of this thing, and goes with what I said about who's going to display it and where. It says that a copy of this document, sponsored by Senator Gene Yaw, be transmitted to Wolf's General Store, Slate Run, Pennsylvania. Now, that means it goes to the store, so I don't know how you're going to arm wrestle to take it today, but in any event, congratulations.
Thank you, Senator. I just want to add, our congratulations on behalf of State Representative Joe Ham. When I think of Slate Run, think of Pine Creek Valley. Wolf's General Store is one of the first things I think of. So I was so excited to hear that it's going to be continued, that it's going to be kept here locally, owned locally, and I look forward to visiting soon. So I just want to read the end of this, not repeat anything that's already been said, but now therefore the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania salutes Wolf's General Store upon its richly deserved recognition, offers best wishes for continued growth and success in the years to come, and directs that copy to Wolf's General Store. So, congratulations.
Senator, I have a question. Since this is part of the store now, does it get written into the deed? And Dave, are you paying attention?
Come see me. Go above and beyond.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you want to?
Yeah, let's try. Thank you. Then I did. Oh, I'm so thank you.
You got a lot of people.
Thank you so much. And then I sat with we talked about it there too. So many were
You should be in this too, Jerry.
Does Jerry?
Jerry, get in the picture. He's yeah, there's somebody else taking a photo, Jerry. Get in.
Maybe we can make a quarter turn.
Which way? Which way? This way. Way back.
Thank you.
You know, for those in the public who don't know about the PA Wild, you can't hear. For those in the public who don't know about the PA Wilds, it's very important to log on because Wolf's General Store and the people behind it have been helped immensely by the marketing that's being done of the PA Wilds across the state. And so we thank Lakeisha and we thank the Visitors Bureau, Mr. Fink, for getting back into it. And I understand that not only have you gotten back into it, but you've gotten back into it with all your feet and all your hands. So we thank that because the PA Wilds is an important instrument for the economic growth of this county over the next 30 years and beyond. And our ability to attract people through the PA Wilds to come and go trout fishing and visit the store is the ability of them to come and say, I want to buy a house in this community. Because I don't want to have to drive 3.5 hours to get here. I want to be able to go 15 minutes and be up there. So we thank you, we thank the Visitors Bureau, and we thank you folks for what you do very much.
Okay, moving on to accounts payable, cash requirement.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here to present the Accounts Payable Cash Requirements Report for invoices due through November 24th, 2021, to be paid on November 17th, 2021, in the amount of $1,041,586.59. And this week, approximately 40% is county general funds, and the rest is grant and/or RMS profit funded.
Okay. Any questions of accounts payable? A motion accept.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Thank you, Randy.
Well, since we don't have a meeting next week, we also need to pre-approve the Accounts Payable Cash Requirements Report for invoices due through December 1st to be paid on November 24th, 2021 upon review and approval by your office.
I'll move to approve with the condition that it'll be pre-approval.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So carried.
Thank you.
3.0, personal actions, Roxanne Green.
Good morning, Commissioners. In Planning and Community Development, Allison Herman as a full-time replacement community and economic development planner, pay grade 9, $42,601.69 annually, effective November 22nd, 2021.
Okay, have a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. So carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
And while we're on this, for the public, we have openings at the county. So if you know of anybody that's looking for employment, we have at least, I think, 30 full-time openings. You can go to Indeed, or you can go to the career link.
And all the job openings are posted on Lycoming.org. Catching back up, we're going to go to 1.5, public comment on agenda items only.
Okay, do we have any public comment on agenda items only at this time? Morning.
Good morning.
State your name for the record.
Sure. My name is Lauren Brahman Frisco. I live in Loyalsock Township, and I am the parent of 2 young children. This is regarding supporting the library system. And I think it is important for us taxpayers to know that how our money is being spent and feel comfortable knowing that our money is being spent to support all Lycoming County residents. I am here today to advocate that the Commissioners approve the additional $63,000 that the Lycoming County Library System has requested. Our library system has 52,000 cardholders. This is almost half of our county's population. This slight increase in funding is about supporting the people who live right here in Lycoming County. Libraries are an excellent resource for people to learn, access information, and the internet. It is one of the few places people can go without having to spend money. In addition to all of that, our library system is an incredible source of community here in Lycoming County. My first experience with our library was baby story time way back in 2015. I was lost. I had no other way to connect with families who were parenting new babies. I formed lasting friendships. In fact, one of the main reasons that my family still lives here in Lycoming County is because of the friendships that I made at the library. Libraries are about creating and maintaining community. When we feel more part of a community, like the one that the Lycoming County Library System facilitates, people become more connected to where they live. And people want to live here, continue to spend money here, and contribute to our tax base. And I believe that is a common goal that we all share. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning. It's Saray Altabrando, 416 Cypress Street in Montoursville. I wanted to speak on why meeting the library's budget request is the most fiscally responsible choice to make. First of all, by flatlining their budget, this is the most important to me, they become ineligible for increased funding from the state. So think of matching money that you would get from a retirement fund or any other kind of program. If we don't increase the library's budget, there's no access to that. Also, statistically, community partnerships increase their donations when taxpayer money is invested into the library system. So that's, again, encouraging more people to spend money there. I think it was Warren Buffett that said the number one rule of investment is to never lose money. We would not only be leaving behind that money, but the return on investment of public libraries is between 2 and 10%. It averages about 5%, but I would guess that ours is much higher because of the great quality. When you increase funding of libraries, you increase property values and desirability of neighborhoods. You increase the spending in the halo of local businesses nearby. It's also especially beneficial to tourism, and two types were mentioned in my reading. International, which we do for the Little League World Series. If you come here and you don't speak much English or know much about being here, excellent place to go and have someone who's going to be patient with you for that. And also outdoorsmen. Our library even has a program where you can rent fishing poles. Again, this is free to everyone. Then there's the real tangible value of the services that are being offered. The library is accessible to every single taxpayer for free. It is the only public entity that is. Almost half of the county has a library card, and that is spread over every demographic, every age, every gender. Even people in facilitated living centers, rehab centers right now, retirement centers, they have access because of the bookmobile and the storymobile. They also go to child care centers. If people can't take their kids to the library comes to their child care center. So everyone benefits from increasing the funding. When you increase the funding, employment rates go up, entrepreneurship, business efficiency, individual livelihood, and professional development. That's both through the programming and because of the access to the books and the digital content and the internet, which I have a note about here. Okay. Also, the access to technology is imperative for so many. If you're starting up a business and you don't have that at home, if you don't need to access healthcare information, most of this is online now. It's also for government information. We want people to be able to go and get the information they need online, news sources. That's credible. Then there's the risks of underfunding a growing library system. James B. Brown Library was Library of the Year. It's amazing. You may think, why do we need to give them more money? There were concerns about what the library is presenting to people. That means even if you don't agree that what was put forward is what you want to see, there's highly trained staff choosing it. There's highly trained staff there to interact with the public on what it's about. And furthermore, we need to maintain the technology software and have trained staff monitoring the internet. It's a great tool, but if we don't have people doing that, we don't keep up with technology, it could become a very dangerous one as well. I would also say underfunding the library could become like physically dangerous when people don't have places to go or that sense of community as well. So where we put our money, and again, this is an investment. Every taxpayer benefits from giving money to the library. It's the only thing that can do that. So what does it say about what we value if we can't meet their small request? Thank you.
Yes, we couldn't get your name, and the community you're from.
I'm sorry, it's Sere Altabrando.
Sere, how do you spell it?
It's S-E-R-E, accent aigu. And thank my dad for that. And I'm from Montortsville. I'm Scott's neighbor.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, everybody. Remember me from the last library? Big fan. I'm not going to go into statistics and numbers as much. I'm going to give more of an example of what the library can do. Brought my good, trusty Hughesville library card, which you can use at any of the libraries now, which is a wonderful thing. I even have my good old Muncie from the very early 90s card. It's been a very big part of our life, but I want to show you one. This is a card from Atlantic City, and this was actually my daughter's card, and she was involved in so many programs, and of course bigger cities are going to have many more programs and everything, but so many things she did there. She became a tutor, became a counselor, and now at the age of 23, she just graduated from a four-year college and was just made the director of the writing center at this college because she spent so much time in this library, and certain libraries provided so many programs. And we don't have many library systems in Lycoming County as it is, and I'm blessed to be in Hughesville, where we have an amazing, beautiful library, wonderful staff there. My son is a volunteer there and is looking to be employed there very soon. But we need more money just for them to have more programs. There are not a lot of wealthy people living on the outskirts of Hughesville, and the library is actually walking distance from a lot of these places, and these kids come here, and they can get books, they get entertainment, they get time to spend somewhere else, because there's not much else to do for these kids to do around here, not at all. If they can't do sports and the parents can't afford it, they're kind of sitting in the house or hanging at the parks or gas stations, not the best places. And they just need more to provide more things for this. They had some great summer programs that these kids were involved in, and it's just not as much anymore. Since COVID hit, they got hit very badly. And, there's a million numbers you can throw around, but I just wanted to give a personal example of what this library system and any library system can do for these children, and it really can be an influence on their life and do great things. So, thank you.
What is your name and community?
McKenna Long. I'm sorry, McKenna Long, and I'm from Hughesville. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
How are you?
Commissioners Metzger, Marabito, and Sarah, thank you for allowing us today. I'm Dennis Carell, volunteer board president of Conkle Library in Montoursville. Thank you for allowing us as a library system to come forward today and kind of advocate for our annual funding and, of course, our increased funding. As I was typing out my notes, I noticed all your names begin with the letter M, and of course we're here for the biggest M of all, and of course that's money.
That's our middle name.
Just open the wallet, please. I could spend an hour telling you all about what we do at Conkle, such as the programming for children, access to materials, computer availability, but these four ladies who just came up and spoke, they did a wonderful job presenting all the avenues that patrons can use in the libraries. But the main focus is what happens with the dollars that you allocate to us. As a library user, each time you borrow an item from the library, you're giving a checkout receipt. If you borrowed a book, you get a little receipt. And it kind of reminds you of what you borrowed and when it's due back to the library. But what I want to concentrate is on what is the bottom of that receipt. You'll find on that receipt the amount of money or the amount the patron has economically saved by utilizing the library. I happen to have mine over a book I just took out. As of November 8th, as a Lycoming County resident, using our library system, I have personally benefited to the tune of $1,423.54. I don't know how that compares to other users, because I consider myself a heavy library user, but for me as a retired community member, this is a significant benefit to me, and I'm gladly support with my taxes on an annual basis. Now, so that was for me personally. So now let me put on my other hat, and that is a volunteer board president. Using this same kind of information, and I examined the funds that the county allocates to the Conkle Library. And I'll use the 2019 year as an example. We were able to take our $56,097 that was allocated to us, using the same logic, create a collection benefit to our patrons of $737,647. That's significant dollars that we were able to take a small amount in turn. Hence, for every dollar you've allocated to us in the library system, we have multiplied that by 13.2 times. So in simpler explanation, for every dollar you give us, every additional dollar you give us, we're able to generate $13.20 benefit back to the community. I don't know of any other program that you fund that you can demonstrate that level of rate of return. So the use of funds is a clear demonstration of how the library system takes the county money, multiplies it, and turns it into a direct benefit to our residents. So while I've dazzled you with numbers, it's really about the importance of the funding you provide. You need to know it is making a difference in our communities. And I, and all the patrons, and any other card holder here, appreciate your funding. Well, thank you for taking my words today.
Thank you.
We want to thank you for undertaking, and the board for undertaking the capital improvement plan that you did. And in fact, you recently received a check of $15,000 from one of the legions, I think.
Correct, American
right?
Legion, yes.
Which was really, really great to see them giving back to the community.
And the Kiwanis have, and so other organizations.
Thank
We've been very
And
fortunate.
we had a meeting in June where the county allocated $50,000
Correct.
to that project.
Correct. Thank you very much.
Yes.
We've almost hit the 3/4 mark, and we will make it. Thank you.
Thank you for your effort.
Good morning. My name is Nicole Lofredo, Loffredo, and I am the director of the Montgomery Area Public Library. Our small rural library is a center for literacy, lifelong learning, and most importantly, access. And I want to thank the people who've already spoken about the different resources and materials that the library provides. Thank you. Libraries provide access to resources and materials to not only families with young children, but also job seekers, elderly, and even up the mountain we service some of the Amish. The library is a highly needed and valued resource, and I ask that the county commissioners just remember the wide variety of people who use and need our resources when deciding the budget. And I just appreciate the chance to advocate for my patrons and my library, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Larry Stout. I am the president of the board of trustees for the Montgomery Area Public Library, of which Miss Nicole is our librarian. And I just wanted to say, I want to back up the fact that I don't think there is a child under 5 or under that does not know Miss Nicole. That, I have been in the library, I'm there 2-3 times a week. Every single child walks in, she knows my name, she knows what books they have read and which ones they need to read. And when she does those kind of toddler tales, whatever, and I'm thinking, really? You're going to have these little, rug munchins that are going to run all over the place. But they love this woman. And I know this is close to Commissioner Maravito's heart. It is when you get them young and they get to love reading. You have set them on a course for life. So, I mean, we're not going to probably see the results for another 2 decades. I probably won't be around, but we in Montgomery thank Nicole Alfredo, because she has really, really been a tremendous asset, and not just to the children, but everybody that walks in. But I just think, for the sake, I don't know another organization that would have that kind of impact upon the young people in our community. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good morning. My name is Christy Forsman. I'm a trustee at the Hughesville Area Public Library, and Deb Kuhar is with me. She's our president. I don't have, what can I say after all we've heard? Really? Except that a library in any community is a gem, and it's one that attracts many people there. One of the things that Hughesville prides himself is we bring the world to our community, and it's really important because we're rural. And I just hope that we can get as much funding as we can. It's very important. It's what we have to focus on. Well, you do too. And thank you for the opportunity to let us speak and show our support. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am very impressed with all that I have heard from all of my fellow library supporters. We really need to put more funding into our libraries. Reaching out to all ages, I can't say enough about that. Young readers, connecting books to children will make them lifelong learners, which is our mission. That's what we need to do. We need to continue to support that. Add in technology. At our library, we actually lend out hotspots. So any of our patrons can take them home who might not have access to the internet and possibly do some job searching on their own. I know for a fact we have many students or someone that is pursuing higher education. They come into the library to use our facilities, our computers, to take their nursing tests. I've seen it firsthand. We need to continue to support all of the efforts that everyone has stated here. There is no better place to put more money into the gold that we have in our youth. So please continue to support our libraries. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes,
Yes.
naturally. My name is Evelyn Derrick with 2 R's, and I represent the Muncie Library. I just want to say that we all are sympathetic to budget constraints. We all work with those. The county has to pay its employees, of which my son-in-law is one, so I'm all in favor of that. We have to fix the roads and the bridges. And these are all very tangible results from our money. What the library does takes years. We start with the children, with the toddlers, introducing them to books, reading, telling stories. What can you do in this life without knowing how to read? And so it takes years for our results to be seen, but they are not less important than the others. And we're working toward everybody being able to read, to succeed in whatever job they have. And of course, we're always trying to promote an educated, literate electorate. And so these toddlers might take 20, 25 years to get to full literacy, but it's because of the libraries that they get there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the audience? We have one more? Two more? Morning.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing us to speak to you.
Absolutely.
Every week, the library sends out a public newsletter, an online newsletter. And I looked at one last night, and I made a list of some of the items that are going to be presented and available at the library. Wi-Fi hotspots, DVD rentals, passport assistance, upcoming events including story time, teen night, cooking class, adult coloring club, baby rhyme time, cattails in partnership with Lycoming County SPCA, virtual family story time, Victorian Christmas highlighting visual arts from the Victorian era, baby pat a cake playgroup, another teen night, baby cafe in partnership with UPMC, Friends of the Library book review program, Little Red Then Bread baking class. I'm not sure I got that right. There will be more programs and other services. These are just for the next few weeks to a month. This reflects the purpose of the library of Lycoming County. Resources are available to multiple age groups and interest groups, seniors, professionals, teens, babies, and their parents. And absent the babies and the teens, these are taxpayers in Lycoming County. So, and as taxpayers, as a taxpayer myself in Lycoming County, and in the city of Williamsport, I ask that you support the library request, including the increase for funding. If you care, and this was just mentioned, if you care about having an educated, knowledgeable constituent in our county, then you really supporting the library systems in the county are essential. It's essential for the future to have a knowledgeable voting group. And as was already mentioned a couple times, if you can't read, you really have an issue in schools throughout and into adult life. So I would ask that you support the request. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Linda Morris, Linda Morris, Morris, 155 Huffman Avenue in Williamsport. Thank you.
Others? Morning.
Morning. My name is Steve Mudler, M-U-T-H-L-E-R. I am the Nippenose Township appointee to the Board of Trustees of the Jersey Shore Public Library. Served as treasurer for a couple of years. Only been with the board for about 5 years. But in listening to these presentations, I've been reminiscing about what I experienced from the time I was, well, it's a little while ago. Our library began early, years ago, as a semi-private institution, but then it was incorporated into our school district, and I know Diane grew up with it same as I did. It was part of our high school. So the library had an opportunity a few years ago to separate itself from the school system anymore and go off on its own, of sorts. Now it's part of the library system, so it's never been on its own. But as a retired high school math teacher, numbers strike me. I heard a presentation of numbers that really impressed me a few moments ago, but for me it's a real simple one. The county board, the county system is asking for an additional 63,000. Serves 52,000. That's $1.21 per person. For the benefit, I can't see anything else that you can invest in.
Anybody else?
Steckel, I'm a resident of Williamsport, Lycoming County. I guess there was, I understood there were a little bit of a, I don't know, discussion. And I don't want to throw a hamper on new job development in this area. God knows we need it since I was a child. But, and I don't know if I'm supposed to bring this up necessarily or not, but I guess there was some contention that the West Company is getting a $500,000 loan. They already got a $500,000 loan. They're bringing out good paying, high-level jobs to the area. I'm all for that. But supposedly that was kind of interfering with the library thing, which after this meeting, I kind of doubt anybody's going to deny the library system $63,000. But maybe you can work, and this is a, you know, I have no idea, but maybe you could work with West Company if this were the case. Maybe they could donate the $63,000 out of the $500 they're trying to get. You know, and if not, maybe if I'm not saying you make it a prerequisite or anything, but you might be able to cajole them in some way, and it would be deductible for them, which it isn't for you, which doesn't really make much difference. But maybe there's an avenue there. You know, that's all I have. I don't. I really.
Anybody else?
Might be last. And each time we said that, you're like, oh, one more. And it's been one more every time. Amanda Waldman from Torsville. I'm actually going to read something that was sent and requested to be read here by Tanya Anderson.
Okay.
In a community that's in dire need of a larger educated workforce, it makes no sense not to invest in free public education. Lycoming County is falling behind in workforce development. We need a well-rounded, educated workforce to compete on a global scale, which is also in alignment with the federal economic development assistance programs and missions. The rest of the world is developing small businesses, entrepreneurships, online businesses, teaching trades, and skills. All respect to the colleges in Lycoming County. They are tuition-based. With the closure limitations of daycares and childcare centers for the pre-K age children, where are the children supposed to learn and interact with other children? The library is a sanctuary for education of the poor. Not everyone can afford computers, internet, buy books on Amazon, Kindles, etc. Not everyone can afford a computer in Lycoming County. The median household income of $52,670 with a poverty rate of 24.71%. The outside municipalities are lower and the poverty rate is higher. All of the commissioners know this. And to not invest into a public service that is accessible to all citizens in Lycoming County goes against the very people who elected them. It is a choice to use the library. People with higher incomes have that choice. People in lower incomes do not. They are able to rent movies, audiobooks, and music. They rent classics to read to their children. You can learn new skills, gardening, computer, finances, cooking, book clubs. And senior citizens are some of the major benefactors of the library. The library should be first on your budget. It's not for the county commissioners to decide what books a person can read. We trust the parents to make that decision. If we lose the libraries in Lycoming County on the commissioner's watch, it will be the sure death of our area. We understand this is not a decision to close the libraries, but if you don't invest in them, it is a slow death to the library system itself. We will lose the ability to keep up with the super fast growing global workforce, and we cannot afford to not invest in every possibility of educating our citizens. Libraries are the heart and soul system of a county. Education is the lifeblood that progresses any community. Lycoming County cannot afford to invest in its excellent library, cannot afford to not invest in its library system. Again, that was from Tanya Anderson. And in relation to what was just said about West Pharmaceuticals, we want a more educated, more diverse workforce to take the jobs at West Pharmaceutical. Thank you.
Thank you.
are from Carlos Aldivia. First one, highly trained staff, question mark. Exactly how many accredited librarians are in the system that are not admitted with a master's of library? Second comment, what part of the mission of the library includes fostering, alleging, mustering insurmountable amounts of courage to overcome significant and public challenge from the very entity that endows them? Question. Why is West Pharmaceutical the subject of being shaken down by the library? Is there no end to the ongoing strategy of manipulation? Question. That's what happened.
Okay. Commissioner, scared to make a comment.
No, the only thing I think that the people have all made incredibly insightful comments about how the library has affected their lives and the people around them. And I have to tell you, Evelyn, the comment you made, just to me was such a deep understanding from the 33 years that you've had of how the library affects the community, and it was helpful to me. And I just wanted to say to all of you that I've learned things from listening to you about how the library can change lives and change our community. I got some emails from constituents who, two of them said, I grew up very poor. These were constituents. And the library was a place for me to really move ahead and learn how to build a life for myself. And when I read that, I thought, wow, that's probably many, many of us, including the three people sitting at this table. I don't know my fourth as well, but certainly the three people at this table. I know that all of us. So hopefully we'll find a way. And I want to clarify something. It isn't a question, and it isn't a question of West versus the library. That's not it. That's not it. And I don't want people to be misunderstanding. We need to just look, as people have said, at how we can build economic development. And the ironic part of this conversation is what the last person said. By having a strong library, we'll build the workforce that will be able to go to West and take the jobs, that will have the education, that will be able to read, and will have the literacy. Because one of the biggest challenges our employers face is finding people with soft skills who can do jobs. And then finding people in the community who have not only the soft skills, but the technical skills and the capacity and commitment to work. That's one of our biggest challenges. So I think I'm encouraged that we can find a way to pull together and do something that really builds that for all of us. Because I know my colleagues are committed to economic development as much as I am, the three of us. And I know that they're committed to this community. So I think that it's very educational and very insightful to know what the library does for people.
You sure?
Yeah. First of all, I got to think that all county commissioners and past boards have been supportive of our library. And it is a gem. It is used by many of our constituents throughout the county. Now, Lycoming County allocates $1,281,912 to our county library system. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. That funding is some of the most funding that any of the 67 counties in the state allocated to, regardless of their class, regardless of 8th class or 1st class counties. We are some of the top contributors. Now, over the course of a decade, the library did not receive an increase 3 years out of that decade. I think that was 2015, 2018, and 2021. And there were many sound reasons for not increasing our contributions to the library system, such as having to increase taxes, huge capital projects in Department of Public Safety, increase in insurance and healthcare costs, and yes, even uncertainty of what the future holds. As a commissioner, we have to make tough choices during those periods of time. In 2015, I raised people's taxes during an election year. I cut the commissioner's pay by $5,000. I froze the pay of our elected officials for 2 of the 4 years. I wasn't a very popular commissioner. Okay. I voted to freeze the pay of our employees at that time over those first 4 years once, and then only to give them marginal increases due to uncertainty and what was happening in our community. That is what you do when you are the steward of the taxpayers of Lycoming County. At our last meeting, which was held here with the library board, of which Commissioner Maravito is a member of, they requested a 5% increase. And at that time, I told them that I could not vote for that increase based for a number of reasons. And first was after talking to one of our state representatives, Wheeland it was, he told us in 2022, the fiscal affairs of the state in dire need, that be careful of how you spend money this year and next, because there will be a reduction of what the state's going to allocate in many programs. Second, now these are the decisions that commissioners have to make. Imagine us, and somebody mentioned flat line, and I used baseline, but imagine us approving a 5% increase. Okay, it isn't a lot. It's $63,000. But what are the repercussions from that decision? We are in the middle of union negotiations that take place one every 5 years. Okay, that would set us up for huge increases in our county payroll. And when we talk about a 5%, that means $1.3 million in additional pay to our employees. That's a huge burden on the taxpayers. The third, this pandemic has got this world upside down. Our current presidential policies have put a tremendous burden on the wages and benefits at this county level. This is evidenced by the adjustments we've had to make over the past 8 weeks. You've seen us increase our pay. You've seen us having signing bonuses. You've seen us have to give retention bonuses to a department, DPS 911, who it was critical. We were from 17 full-time employees down to 8 that answer your 911 calls. That's pretty important. And therefore, we had to make some adjustments. We've made adjustments not only to that department, but to maybe 5 other departments at this time. Okay? The commissioners are even looking at having a study so that we can compare what our 5th class county is paying our employees and what services that we provide. The original cost was about $1 million for that study. It's very difficult for me to support something like that. It's better for us to get down, roll up our sleeves, and do it ourselves. Fourth, we are investing in our own human capital right now. We have allocated over $1 million in 2022 to create a health center for our employees. This health center, we're anticipating over the next 5 years, will save the county taxpayers $3 million. Even though we have to spend money, we are anticipating a $3 million savings over the next 5 years. That's a big decision that we have to make, to put money back into our own resources here in our human capital. And I'll just give you an example. We had this in a meeting, in a conversation, that just the healthcare center alone, and I'm going to just say 63,000 because it's nominal, okay? But by just increasing that to the taxpayers, that means 1,081 homes in Lycoming County will be taking their county taxpayers' money to put into those just 2 projects. 1,000 will be using their taxpayers' money for these projects. That's a lot of homes that we're not even going on for our annual budget. And the fifth reason for these tough decisions are, we have several projects right now that, for the most part, Lycoming County had no dog in the fight for the levy system that protects 4 of our communities. But what did you say, Commissioner? Like 80% of our tax revenue.
87% of the people work behind it.
And 87% of the people work behind it. This is in the millions of dollars. The millions of dollars. $36 million. Okay? And we will help fund those for a number of reasons. If we lose certification in the levy, what happens? They all fall under the National Flood Insurance. We will lose our city. That's top priority. That is my top priority, that we save our residents of this community and those 4 underlying areas. Economic development is something that we discussed this year in detail. That it is important that we work with our chamber, Jason Fink, and at the time, bring in companies that will build, expand, so that we have a larger tax base. We have lost 1.5% of our population in this last census. That is not a trend that we want to continue. And so therefore, we must, as officials, take serious consideration as to what we fund in our economic development, of which I think we've done a fantastic job. And I want to thank the Chamber for stepping up to the plate and bringing us 2 and now 3 companies that are going to invest and then lessen the burden on the tax. You know, public safety is probably our most important. And right now, there's a culture throughout the nation that forget being law-abiding citizens. We're just going to destroy, we're going to rob, we're going to do this and that. And there's a huge pressure on our third-class city of Williamsport to deal with the crime, to deal with gangs. And can they afford to put police officers on it? Okay? It's difficult for them right now, very difficult. And so we utilize our narcotic enforcement unit. They've come in with a request to please put on 2 additional people because they need them. And we have to consider that. I'm not even sure if we put that into this year's budget or not. I think the most important thing is we make those decisions in the best interest of Lycoming County taxpayers' dollars. And that being said, okay, there are two different funding sources or mechanisms that do not come from the taxpayers, from those mills that we collect. Act 13 funds are one of those. Those are funds that are generated from the natural gas industry. And I believe ARP funds, okay, which was a gift. And I understand that using those funds does not increase the base level or the flat line level of the library. You see, when we increase, if we were to give them 5%, 63,000 goes onto that base fund, and then we're committed as taxpayers to continue to fund that total amount, which we're fine with. We've increased them 6 of the 10 years, okay? I'm not aware of that if we just let it flat, that the state won't contribute more. That's the first that I heard that. I'm not sure about that. But I think we can hit a compromise that we use some of those other two funds, such as we did with the Conkle Library. I think that was a request that was made to us during the course of 2021, right? June of 2021. And we thought, yeah, let's support that. So we did, okay? But I don't believe, I'm sure that it did not go into that baseline level. And these are funds that the commissioners place no restrictions. We have all the confidence in every library board system to use the money accordingly. You're the experts. So I would certainly entertain, before the end of this budget process, how we can manipulate those funds to lessen the burden. I'm sure you've had a burden over 2020 and 2021. It has not been an easy 2 years. So in closing, I just want to say that I appreciate everything that the library means to our county and what you do for our community, and I want to continue success in the future.
Thank you.
So, I have a question for Barb. Barb, I think, is going to do a presentation, right?
Yeah,
On the state of the
I
library.
didn't know if, I wasn't sure if we were going to do 4.2, what the time was, but I'm happy to, I do have something
If I
prepared.
may speak first?
Yeah, please, please.
The library system is very valuable in Lycoming County. That's never been denied. Never been denied by this Board of Commissioners. It's very valuable. It was extremely valuable to me growing up, because I shared with the library board and their trustees, on a very personal note, how important it was to me. I advocate for the library system in this county. But as a commissioner, I have to look at the overall budget. And we received $36 million in taxes. $36 million. Our budget's $127 million. And the reason why it's $127 million is because we have outstanding employees that go out and find funding, grants, and programs so that services can be provided to this county. If they don't find that funding through state and federal and other means, we would have to cut services drastically in order to provide those services. I want you to look at your tax dollar. Your tax dollar, your county taxes is 21 cents on the dollar. Depending on where you live, whether it's a city, a township, or borough, it's 22 to 24 cents on the dollar. Your school district taxes is your chunk. It's about 56 cents on the dollar. So we have little to work with. And we have big needs. We have a courthouse next door that hadn't been renovated since it was constructed. We had to make investment in our employees, such as the commissioner said, different departments, because we would have a 911 center that was unmanned. So when you call 911 for an emergency, you'd be placed on hold. We don't want that. We have a facilities department that if we put out the bids to do this construction, to have the vision for a clinic to help reduce our insurance costs, which were going through the roof. When Commissioner Massar came in office, it was at $6 million. Now it's at $13 million. So we had to take the steps to have that vision help reduce those costs. Facilities management, if they don't do those projects for us, we have to bid them out for prevailing wage, which is millions. Millions. So we try to cut the cost by doing it in-house. And we'll continue to do so. $63,000 to me is a lot of money. In large scale, it isn't. But a lot of people in this county don't make $63,000 a year. You compound that on the base, in 5 years, it's $315,000. I'm all in favor of projects. When we have outside agencies come to us, the outside agencies will come to us with projects. Most of them. And they'll say, this is what we're doing next year, can you fund this? It's not tied to a budget or a baseline on a budget. I'm not in favor of paying people salaries, taking care of an outside agency's salaries. I had asked the library a different request. I wanted to see what your membership was. This is a hard decision because the library is dear to my heart. I saw the membership. I saw how many people used it in the county. I asked what the salary of your employees was. The head librarian makes $112,000 a year. I asked what the city of Williamsport does. The city of Williamsport contributes nothing towards James V. Brown Library. Nothing. Has the city been approached? Their main library is in their city. Have they been approached for funding? I asked, what other school districts help with the library system? Williamsport, Loyalsock, and Muncie are the only school districts that contribute to our library system. Yet the library in every one of those areas is extremely important. Our school district tax is the highest. The county is the lowest. We're not talking about cutting funding. I said that back in June. I will not cut the library's funding. I believe in the library system. But when people are suffering right now out of work, we have inflation going through the roof, we have more and more people out of work, we have to look at every request objectively. And if we have it where we can help out with projects, I'm all for it. All for it. But to increase a baseline on a budget is a huge ask. The Concord Library came to us. I've been in the Concord Library a lot. I helped them with the community service projects. When they have their book sales twice a year, we take workers down to them. And I have a lot of friends in the Concord Library. That was a no-brainer. They're doing expansion. We gave them $50,000. They didn't ask for the whole $350, they asked for $50, and we gave it to them. It made sense. I'm for any business, or not business, but I should say the outside agencies, any outside agency coming to us and making a request. And if it's reasonable and we can do it, and we can do it as a project, then we'll have that discussion. There's 70 departments in the county. And those tax dollars are only 36 million. The tax dollars, the local ones. Out of the 70 departments funded by our county general fund, 56 of them have a budget less than 1.3 million. Yet they're servicing you. They're servicing you every day. Those employees come to work and service you. And their budget's less than 1.3 million. 14 of them, their budget's over 1.3 million. So this is a hard decision. And we're in lean times. I sat in that room when Representative Whelan said, tighten your belts, guys. Next year's going to be very, very rocky. And the state has cut library funding for years. For years. Where's the opposition to that? Write your representatives to about that. But we have a commissioners meeting, we pack the house. As I stated earlier, I don't want to cut any funding of anybody. And I'm afraid someday we might have to, with the way our country's going. The library is instrumental. We know that. And we'll try to work with them to achieve what they need to have done. They do help our youth. They do help our seniors. And I have agonized over this decision. I've prayed over this decision. But I can't add money to a baseline budget year after year after year after year. Not in these days that we're living in. Has the library applied for COVID monies to assist them? We'll work with the library. We'll try to help them achieve their means. As many nonprofits do. What fundraisers have been held? Have they had fundraisers to try to raise these monies? But as the county gives $1.3 million, what have other government agencies done to help the cause? I would ask you to ask the city of Williamsburg, when they had the main library in their city, why there's $0 contributed to them. And I'd like to know their answer, because they're a partner too. They're a partner in this. As the city goes, the county goes. We need to work together. And we need to work with the library system. We want you to succeed. And we'll give you those monies that we've given you. We're not denying you those monies. And we'll continue to work with you on your other projects. And you can come to the table and say to us, this is what we need you to try to assist us with. We'll listen. We want to sit with you and work with you. Thank you.
You know, I wasn't going to go into all of this because I thought we were sort of discussing the library, but I think I need to point out some things because, and by the way, I appreciate Commissioner Masser's approach of trying to see if we can find some compromise. I'm not sure whether the money is money, and I'm not sure whether the way the state funding is, I think that once we put the money in, we have to keep it to certain levels. But the difficulty that I find is that this year, we had a meeting about the golf course. And the golf course, good news is the golf course is generating some money because it had a couple of good years. But this year, we spent $450,000 buying golf carts. And we set it up so that the golf course would pay back the money for the golf carts, but ultimately the taxpayers are responsible. If there are 3 bad years and the golf course makes no money, the taxpayers will pay the $450,000 because we own the golf course. We hope and pray, and we work with our management company that they will make money so that the golf course revenues will pay the golf carts. But there's a 5-year capital plan that the golf course gave us, the management company. It's budgeting every year to spend about $80,000 for the next 5 years on capital projects. I think that what I learned from Evelyn's description is that the $63,000 is a capital investment in the minds and the hearts and the souls of the people in our community. And that's what I'm hoping that we can try to understand. Just like we need to spend this year, we're going to spend $65,000 to repair drainage on some holes at the golf course because there's so much water you can't get to the hole. The $63,000 that the library needs is to be able to enrich the minds and provide the services and the programs so that those kids can get to the proverbial golf hole at the library. So we have to try to view this as not as an either or. Even this whole discussion about West. I went with Commissioner Mister. The two of us went up there, and I immediately agreed to give $500,000 for West expansion. When I heard the story, at the request of Mr. Fink and the chamber, we went up there. Mr. Metzger was out of town that day, couldn't go. We went up, and immediately on the spot, I said, I will support giving $500,000 for the West expansion because I understood that we were enabling the company to expand in Jersey Shore by purchasing land from the fire company that they really didn't want to pay what the fire company would need. And then the whole question of another $500,000 came up, which...
Commissioner, I think we're getting off the topic.
Whoa. This is not off the topic. I just listened to 10 pages of descriptions of expenses as justification for not providing $63,000 to the library. I think it's exactly on point. And frankly, I didn't raise it. I didn't raise it because I was trying to keep us focused on the library. But we've heard everything about narcotics to, here's the reality.
We're talking about tax dollars.
Yeah,
right.
And we're talking about tax dollars with the West expansion because either way, as Commissioner Mister pointed out, it's funds. In fact, the West pharmaceutical money to me is even more dangerous. We've been listening to communities talk about the needs that they have. Just in the water and sewer in this county, 2 businesses, Jersey Shore Water Authority, 2 businesses are requesting more water in Jersey Shore and the Water Authority. What are the businesses? West Pharmaceutical and Ballbirds Brewing. It's going to cost $300,000 to $500,000 to upgrade the treatment facilities to be able to provide the water and the jobs. Separate from that, 2 main water lines are exposed from flooding. The cost $80,000 to $170,000. In Hughesville, the Water and Sewer Authority, before they can build houses, they've got a line going out to Wolf Run that affects 30 houses and a nursing home. They need $100,000. They need a new water tank, $450,000. They need to do a new line out Route 18 to spur economic development. West Branch Regional Authority cost $350,000 to repair the sewer lines on Route 54. Muncie Borough, Quarry Road, $200,000 for a water line, $200,000 for a sewer line. We've had requests from places like the Muncie Legion, who were here today, a letter, $30,000 to be able to correct the problem. Then we get to the really big ones, Williamsport Water and Sewer. We have a high hazard protection dam that serves 51,000 people with water. And frankly, if we lose that dam, we lose water for 51,000 people in the county. It's $2.5 million to fix it. In the south side, on the sewer side, it's 1.3 million to fix sanitary sewer lines in Williamsport Sanitary Authority that serves 75 businesses, 2,700 residents. We haven't even discussed the Lycoming County Water and Sewer Authority. My point in, though, is that when we give $1 million to one company, to West Pharmaceutical, what we do is we tie up cash that can be used to match grants, because cash is king. And you cannot use certain cash to match other cash grants. You can't use federal funds as a match to get other federal funds. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that in the process of protecting our cash, and I say this supporting business and supporting the expansion at West, I think $500,000 is very generous from a poor community. And especially when the CEO is paid $8 million. Now it's a private company. They can pay him anything they want. They can pay him anything they want. But they shouldn't come to us and say, hey, we got a coroner's building. We got a coroner's building that's going to cost easily to rent, to make it work, if we want to make it work. Even if we try to use as many things as we can, it's going to cost us $5 million. Over $5 million. So the point is, all these things are competing needs. And it isn't that we don't do something to help West. We do something. We give them $500,000. We effectuate the change. And we make sure that the water and sewer authorities have money. And we make sure that our capital, our human capital of kids and adults who utilize the library are taken care of with a modest $63,000. And gentlemen, we hope that the golf course continues to make money. But we've dumped millions of dollars into it. It's an asset that hopefully brings people here. So I hope we can find a way to compromise on it. I'm looking forward to that. It really comes down to us valuing the library system. I know you guys value it, but how can we look ourselves in the mirror and say that we'll commit $60,000 a year to the golf course for the next 5 years for capital improvements, plus the $450 to the golf carts, plus the $300,000 we paid off on the Muncie line of credit, plus the millions that we put in, and not turn around and say to 52,000 members of the county, hey, we value the library system. We're going to increase it. I think that we can do that. I think that we can do that, and I think we want to do that because I think we understand intellectually the importance of the library to building that human capital. So, and listen, at the end of the day, if you guys want to give $1 million to West, the only thing I'm going to say to you is this. We got all these other things that I just read, and that was only the water side. I didn't read the boroughs. Jersey Shore came to us, the Boys Town came to us. I didn't read what we got to do. We're in this together. We're in this together, and we know. I kind of feel like we've gotten intoxicated. You know, the feds give us $22 million, and the city gets $26 million. It goes like that, and you know that. I know you guys know that. But at the same time, I don't think putting in our budget $63,000 for the library system is outrageous. I really don't think it is. So let's see what we can do, guys.
Commissioner, regarding the golf course, since you brought that up, they are doing very well. They pay a membership fee over there. They pay green fees. They pay all kinds of fees to golf over there. It's an asset to the community, and it is an asset just like the library is. Just as any business is an asset to this community. They have agreed to pay that loan back. They've made their first payment as directed. Okay, yeah, they might have a bad year. A lot of people can have bad years, but right now they are going by their obligation, and they are doing quite well.
There is no loan, just so you realize.
Yes, but they're paying the carts back.
Right, no, we're paying the carts back. There are 450 members.
How did this get into
exactly.
a golf course?
It's not
So,
free to the public.
going forward, we've all three spoke about the library, and
Commissioners, I do have a couple more comments. Again, Carlos Saldivia, the library does not trust the parents to know what is best for them. this is what the whole fiasco was about this summer. The fact that the library believes there should not be a conversation. Next, again from Carlos, McGarry makes $112,000, good for her. But know that the highest median salary in PA for a library director is $77,000. Another one from Carlos. No, Commissioner Maravito, the golf course money is a false equivalency. The object of investing in the golf course is to make it profitable enough to sell the golf course. And lastly, from Carlos, West Pharmaceuticals expansion in the end will fund the library more. This is nonsense. Don't forget the human capital from the library leadership that is brazenly insubordinate and pulls all the stops by trying to manipulate. I'm assuming that means the commissioners for political gain. That's right.
I'd just like to make a comment. I'm not one that criticizes anybody's bank, okay, especially when they're worth it. So what may appear to be a large sum of money may be minimal in comparison to the worth or value a person brings to that entity, organization, or business. You know, there's reasons why CEOs make millions of dollars, because they make things profitable. There's reasons why librarians make more money, because they make their communities a better place. So I appreciate comments, but when we start to talk about someone's pay or what somebody makes, or we are naming companies that we have not even signed an agreement with yet, okay? It's a dangerous territory that we're treading right now, because we welcome that economic development. It's my job to spend money, taxpayers' money, to bring them in, to let them grow their businesses, to expand, to increase the tax base. And what's $1 million when you're employing 500-600 people and paying them good benefits and increasing the tax rolls? God only knows we need growth.
And we rank near the bottom of the counties in the state of Pennsylvania for economic growth. And we need jobs. We need to bring people here. We need to grow our tax base. And the West Company, with the expansion of those jobs, will help grow that tax base.
And no one has denied. When the company made $350 million in 3 months in profit and pays the CEO $8 million, I'm happy to give them $500,000 for their expansion, but I will not take the money of a poor county, we heard 24% poverty rate, to give them another $500,000. It makes no sense when we have so many needs. But anyway, it's been a good conversation. This is what democracy's about, right?
We are definitely transparent.
The rest of the agenda to get out to.
Yeah.
Could I just add one other statistic that, unless I'm looking at the wrong website, Chris Bassers from Williamsport, West Pharmaceutical Company also repurchased 479,000 shares of their stock for $137 million last year, which came off their website. Personally, it looks to me like they could be giving us the money instead of the other way around.
Oh, they do, sir. They employ a lot of people in our community.
Thank you. What is your name?
We have the report from the library next, which is Barb.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for having us. Just a couple things I want to say. I promise to be very brief. We've been here for a while and we've heard a lot about the library and the value. First of all, I want to say that we really appreciate the investment in the library that you make. Because of the pandemic, we are down to bare bones staff in all of our libraries. And many of our libraries have not been able to even give a cost of living increase to their employees and that we are an employer throughout the whole Lycoming County Library system. And as you know, there are 6 member libraries and link libraries, a Storymobile and a Bookmobile. And as you mentioned, inflation is going up, skyrocketing, including gas. And I just want to tell you, just to, if I can just try to convince you to consider giving us some type of increase, because we take the Storymobile out to 29 daycares and make sure that the kids at those daycares, some of them are dropped off at 6 o'clock in the morning and picked up at 6 o'clock at night, and they don't have an opportunity to get to the library. So the people behind the services go and they make sure that these children have 2 books to take home every 2 weeks, and they have those books for free. And if they forget them or whatever, we never charge any fines for our kids. And we took a big hit at the beginning of 2021 not to charge any fines, which only hurt the poorest people in our county. We have people that have a hard time paying for parking, and the services that we provide are so critical. They are so dependent on us. And as you know, we have 51,000 card-holding members within throughout the whole county that are dependent upon library services. And as a nonprofit, and so many people have spoke very eloquently about this, but a nonprofit 501c3 community benefit organization is like any business. We are either growing or we're dying. And if you level fund us ongoing, you will level fund us into irrelevance. And we will not be able to continue to provide the services that we provide. We respect you and we want to work with you. And anything that we can do, we tried to have a respectful ask of 5% of $63,000. We understand if all of the needs that you have at the county that are pressing for you, but we want you to consider and think about the fact that costs continue to go up, and with level funding from the state and with level funding from the county, I'm not sure how we're going to be able to do it. So we ask you, and there's a long history, and I think maybe we could sit down and have a conversation about the city of Williamsport and the school districts, because when we became a library system in 1983, the county took on so that the small municipalities, including the city of Williamsport, could focus their efforts elsewhere. And it was something that the county championed, literacy, and creating a community of readers, that they felt so passionately about it that we had a dedicated tax, and we had 0.41 of a millage. And in 2012, Wheelan took that away and made us an outside agency. So I just want you to know that the taxpayers have already said, this is what we want for our community, a free public library that benefits everybody. So I want to thank you for your consideration. I want to thank you for the value that you assign the libraries. And I really hope that you will think very, very hard about an opportunity to continue, even with small increases for our library system, because we desperately need your help. And we depend on you as the citizens depend on us.
Barb, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
If we were to, say, give you a 2% increase, does that automatically trigger an increase from the state? So if we give you more money, they would give you...
No, it is not. No.
If we give you something that helps.
What it is the state commitment is dependent upon a county commitment. So if you took away funding, then we wouldn't get county coordination aid, which is a county-wide plan to serve everyone, and it pays for our bookmobile or storymobile links at $151,000. So that money we wouldn't be eligible for. So it is a benefit, but it doesn't mean if you bring up the base, you're not obligated for the base. So I'm not sure what the misunderstanding was there, but it is because you give to the county, and some counties don't give, like Northumberland. They don't give anything to their libraries, and their libraries are struggling and they're hurting. And if you look at, the town of Sunbury, it is not the place that I would want to choose to live. But we want to make sure that the library is one of those things that people choose a community for. So we want to make sure, I'm one of the only siblings that stayed out of my 4, that our kids choose to stay in this community, and then people from the outside choose Lycoming County as the place that they want to live and work and raise their families. So thank you for your consideration.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
All right, Maya Toon, 4.3.
Good morning. Good afternoon now.
The first time I have before you is the county will be requesting bids for the construction of a street-side option in health and wellness center. The next item I have is to 4.4 is take on the county to be requesting bids for the collection of disposal of trash and recycling materials. This is for all county facilities. And then 4.5 is to acknowledge the county will be testing proposal for a qualified environmental professional for the brownfield revolving loan fund program, which we awarded grant funds for. This person would not be a county employee, and it would be 100% reimbursed by the grant, and it would help to facilitate the brownfield site cleanup, and they would provide the technical services and oversight program.
All right, thanks, Maya.
Thank you.
Lauren, 4.6.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. LPR is going to request some proposals for our tire recycling program. Our current contract is expiring at the end of the year. The RFP will be posted on November 26th and on the 30th in the paper, and will also be posted on 10bid.net. Last year, we recycled about 178 tons of tires, and those tires then were taken to a location called Montgomery and then processed into new material like rubber mulch, and different types of rubber mats and other rubber products.
All right, thanks. John, 4.7.
Good morning. I'll just read the press release here verbatim. The county of Lycoming will be accepting pre-application funding requests from municipalities, public authorities, nonprofits, and businesses that are located within Lycoming County to help determine how to allocate funds from the Federal American Rescue Plan Act. The county was awarded $22 million in ARPA funds to address the impact of COVID-19, which will be transferred to the county in 2 different installments. Piggybacking on that, the commissioners will anticipate opening 2 separate grant rounds over the calendar year 2022 to allocate those funds. Currently, in an effort to determine how to best utilize those monies, the commissioners are encouraging all eligible entities to complete and submit the pre-application form located at www.lyco.org/ARPA. By completing this form, you will help the county determine the level of which each eligible project category will be funded. The following types of organizations are eligible to apply. So it's municipalities, public authorities, 501c3 nonprofits, and privately owned businesses. The initial pre-application window will be from November 16th, 2021 until December 31st, 2021. The following categories of eligible uses may be funded through this program, through the program guidance available to the commissioners. So that's support for public health response, the replacement of public sector revenue loss, water and sewer infrastructure, broadband infrastructure, projects to address negative economic impact, premium pay for essential workers, and projects to improve and maintain recreational assets which have been impacted by the pandemic. And just one final note, is that list of eligible uses may be expanded or better defined after Congress and the Department of Treasury publish the final rules and the guidance for ARPA.
You know, John, I think you said the deadline is December 31st, 2021. And I guess we can keep that deadline, but I think we're going to find that we end up needing to expand it because those federal regulations aren't even out yet, the final regulations, which you just mentioned at the end. And I think the other thing is it's a terrible time of year with between people going hunting and going all sorts of places, vacation and so forth. But we can start with that deadline. But
Yeah, Commissioner, the thought was just establishing a suspense for the first round.
Right.
And then we could adjust after that.
yeah, so that we certainly want people to be able to apply, that may not know about it.
And hopefully, through this press release and what we cover maybe on social media and in the media in general, we'll be able to get a nice, dragnet out there for people to figure out where to apply and what to do. We've made the online form very easy. It's simple to put your information in and hit submit. It's not an onerous process at this point. What we're looking for is for people to just give us a general idea of what they're going to do and what the cost might be. And then we'll reach out with a more formal process in the future. So this is just really us figuring out what the community need is. And if you feel that we haven't gotten an appropriate response, we can definitely extend or advertise pre-application process for the first program.
Okay, thanks, John. So then entities you name, private businesses, nonprofits, municipal entities, public authorities, 501c3s, the nonprofit, they would apply, and then we'll look at all of them together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lavelle.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, John.
Okay, information item 4.8. This is information based on what the commissioners intend to do once we get into the new year concerning policy 401, which is our county pay plan. And so it's a little premature to revise the entire policy because the budget has yet to be completely approved at the end of the period here. But what's important is that the commissioners intend to change in policy 401 the aspect that where employees who are currently maxed out, which means they only get a cost of living increase and not the full yearly increase. For example, last year was, or I should say 2021 was 2.5%, a 1% COLA and a 1.5% increase. By lifting the maxed out or getting rid of the maxed out category, those individuals, I think there's 36 of them, would be eligible for the full 2.5% increase and not just 1%. Randy.
Thank you. One. That's before she goes up.
This is related.
Yeah.
Steve, that's been sitting here for a
long time, gentlemen. Thank you for being patient. Do you want to come up and do your proposal to us? Thank you. Then we'll get back on track here. Thank you for being so patient this morning.
Yep. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm Steve Hafner, Haefner, 94 Quick Road, Muncie. I'm the commander of the Muncie American Legion, Post 268. It's 515 Legion Road. I have my first vice here, which is Rich Friel. Second vice, Charlie Nelson, and two members. I have John and Linda Sosniak. As a nonprofit organization, we donate 60% of our income back to the community, and 40% is for running the club. We donate to such organizations as the fire department, the local fire department,
the police department, and the Muncie Library, and also the school. We are seeking a grant from the American Rescue Plan of $30,245 to hook onto the county water and sewer authority, water and sewer system. Our existing system is in such disarray that we have a septic and a leach field, and our building is over 100 years old. We believe that this is an environmental issue, and it will help the club immensely. We don't have to go 400 feet from the building to the Lycoming County water sewer system. Thank you for your consideration, and we hope that you give support in the Veterans Organization at this time of need. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
We want to thank the Legion in Muncie and all the legions throughout the county for all they do for the community. Without the legions, a lot of projects would not get done.
Yes.
And the youth that you assist throughout the county and different organizations, we thank you.
Mr. Hefner.
Yes, sir.
What you just heard above was the gentleman, Mr. Lavelle, saying that there is an application online.
Yes, I didn't get the website.
Okay, it's www.lyco.org. .lyco, L-Y-C-O.
L-Y-C-O.
.org.
Okay.
We have the application, but just so it doesn't slip through the cracks, I think it would be important for you to fill that out online. I would hate to have this slip through the cracks. If you have difficulty filling it out, anyone who has difficulty with filling it out can call the planning department and we'll help them. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You got a number for the planning department?
Yeah.
Right in really quick, and you know that it's posted across the entirety of the county's website. It's on the front page as well. So if you go to lyco.org, it's the first link in the main body of the website. And if there's any questions, anybody can get in contact with me and the county planning department.
And my apology, I don't want you to think it's a bureaucratic thing. You gave it to us, but I would hate to have it slip through the cracks just because it didn't wind up on that application. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Y'all have a good day. Thank you.
You too.
Oh, Linda, yes, Linda, thank you for being here.
Take care.
Do you have a comment you'd like to state?
Yeah, if I could just make a
Yeah.
brief comment.
Feel free to come on.
My husband and I I'm from Pitch Rocks, Linda Sosniak from Pitch Rocks. We have become more active with the Muncie Legion, so I've learned a lot more about what they do for the community. And Steve did mention a few things, but they provide burial flags, they do honor guard for the funerals, they do a children's community Halloween, they carved pumpkins this year, they're doing a children's Christmas for people who cannot have Thanksgiving dinner. They're working with a VFW and they're delivering meals to people in the community. They created a scholarship at Muncie School District where usually students who are going into the military don't have an opportunity for a scholarship. So they're giving scholarships to students that are seniors that are going into the military. So they help with wreaths across America. So I just really think they are a huge benefit to the community. And if there's any way that you could help with the American Rescue Plan to help the Legion, because when you go there and it's raining out, you can literally smell the sewer outside of the building. And they were hit so hard with COVID that they're really struggling for their funds. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, John, for all of you. Thanks for your service.
Thank you for your service.
I'm just going to add this, that when the state legislature made it mandatory that these clubs give 60% of their revenue to or donations to nonprofits, that put a big burden on these organizations, okay, because not every one of them have the same cost or expenses. I know, like the Eagles Club down there, their buildings, oh my God, it's huge, and they spend $6,000 a month just in heating. They don't take into consideration that. So we need to the legislature needs to reevaluate how they're, dictating how these people can spend the money.
Okay, we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Brady's next.
4.9, Brady.
Okay, Brandy. Let's see. Good afternoon now, Commissioners. I have the preliminary 2022 Lycoming County budget that I'd like to present for public review. The projected revenues for 2022 in total are $102.9 million, which is $0.4 million or 0.4% more than the 2021 budget. The projected expenditures in total are $127.5 million, which is a $7.3 million or 6% increase over the current year's budget. On the revenue side, taxes and our service fees are increasing, and they're being mostly offset by decreases in about every other category of revenue we have. As far as expenditures go, the major contributors to the $7.2 million increase is capital outlay of $3.1 million as a result of building the county health center to save on ever-increasing health costs, and projecting to move county departments from this building, Executive Plaza, to 3rd Street Plaza after hopefully we sell this building in 2022. Fringe costs are also projected to increase by $1.2 million for the operational costs of the health clinic, and our $5 fee for local use fund is expected to increase $3.1 million next year as a result of the continuation of the bridge bundling program, which is 100% funded by the $5 fee that we added to everyone's vehicle registration a few years ago. This preliminary budget does not include a property tax increase, and the county tax millage rate is proposed to remain at 6.5 mils. I want to thank all the department heads and county staff that work to contribute to the budget, and especially the commissioners for their dedication to the budget process as a whole. This preliminary budget will be available for public inspection on the county website, www.lyco.org, and hard copies will be available during normal business hours of 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the following county offices: the Office of the Commissioners, the Controller's Office, the Budget and Finance Office, and a copy will be available at the James V. Brown Library. Public comments are encouraged, and the county is going to hold a public outreach session on Thursday, November 18th, this week at the Trade and Transit Center located at 144 West 3rd Street, Williamsport, PA, and the Ross Room located on the 3rd floor. Any additional adjustments that are made between today and the final approval of the budget will be announced at formal adoption on December 7th, 2021.
Ms. Clemens, may I suggest that in addition to putting one at the Brown, you put it at all the 6-member libraries, so that, for example, someone in Jersey Shore who wants to go can just walk in there and see it. I don't think they'll object at all.
No, we can print some more copies and get that done during the week this week.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so people don't feel like we just put it in Williamsport.
Right. Yeah. It's my understanding that in the revenue side, there has not been any revenue put in there from the sale of this building because we don't know what it's going to be yet.
No, and we're not sure, 100% sure that it's going to happen in 2022, so.
But we do have the projected expenses
Yes.
in the budget. Okay.
And we're projecting a savings, and there are quite a few rollover projects that just did not get accomplished this year, contributing to the increase next year. But we have a healthy fund balance, and
Did you state what our fund balance is?
it's currently for the county general fund in our 2020 financials is $26.5 million. We're looking to add to that quite a bit this year with all the open positions we have and
projects not being completed and being rolled over, we should have no use of deficit, but an actual surplus most likely at the end of the current year.
And none of these funds have the ARPA funds included in it?
No.
Correct.
Right, that's not count, right.
That's not revenue?
Right.
No, no.
I mean,
where did you-
that's in the overall revenue of the county budget, but it has an offsetting equal expense, so it has a zero effect
It's
on the
not in each
bottom
figure.
line.
Has a zero effect.
It's in the overall revenues and expenses with a zero effect overall.
Okay.
I think there's only about 1.6 million so far budgeted in there just for the handful of projects that we've already committed
But the
funds
11
to.
million we received so far and the 11 million coming in the next year is not in there?
No, that won't be in there.
Right.
Randy,
Oops, I'm sorry.
I was just say thank you to you and all your staff for the work you did. We know that you're down positions.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that you did this under a lot of stress from not having people to be able to do some of the things you normally do. So thank you and to all the staff up there.
I want to thank you and all the county department heads for doing their due diligence and it's been a stressful year.
Yeah, we're not the only one short-staffed, so,
Everybody's
it was
short-staffed.
hard on everybody this year, yeah.
So we want to thank everybody for getting things done, getting them on time, so.
Randy, two questions.
Mhm.
Okay. How long have you been here at the county?
12 years, a little over 12 years.
Is this the highest expense that you've seen the county have?
I believe so. I mean, I'd have to really look back, but I would say yes.
This is not a good thing.
No, it's quite a bit higher
This
than
is
normal.
a lot higher. And it's alarming. It's not concerning anymore, it's alarming. And we're going to have to rein in some of these expenses. With that being said, what do you attribute that difference? I think you said it's 7% or something like that.
Yeah,
What do you attribute that increase coming from?
a lot of capital projects and a lot of rollovers of things not getting completed this year. And like I said, the offsetting revenue is not there for the sale of the building, but we did budget in to build out so that when the time comes, we are ready, to make that move. But
And for the taxpayers, just so that you know, when we propose a budget, that can change. Like in 2021, our capital projects that are not there will obviously decrease the expenses for the 2021 budget, but carry them over to the 2022. So there's part of the reason why you see that increase. But nonetheless, with the amount of stimulus, or however you want to say it, when you start to implement programs, they don't always just go away.
no, and with decreased funding, from federal and state agencies, if we're looking, for that to become a future thing, we're gonna have to tighten our belts a little more in the coming years to adjust.
These expenses are an increase for capital projects such as the wellness center, the build out with the wellness center, which we're trying to have the vision that it's going to help reduce the insurance cost over the long term. And so it's an investment going forward to have healthier employees and to help reduce the cost of, you've seen rise from 6 million to 13 million in your tenure. And then also the bridge bundling project, and those funds come back to us as we put this money out for the projects. So this is what the majority of this increase is regarding the capital expenses this year.
Yeah.
In the last regard of what you just mentioned, it's so important on that health plan, we are self-funded. So every health care claim we pay. We're not insured by a type of term insurance where Blue Cross is paying it. I mean, we have a company that pays it, but the point is we're on the hook for it, which is very different from other healthcare. We're self-funded. So when the commissioner says catching things early on, if we catch cancer in year 1 instead of year 5, we may reduce the cost to the healthcare fund from $1 million to $100,000. So again, this is something that we studied, we visited, all three of us have put our heads and beat our heads in.
And remember, more importantly, Commissioner,
A healthier person.
we
Yeah.
we can get the employee taken care of much
Right.
quicker in the process.
Right, right. So that's important.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Yep,
Brandy,
you're
for
welcome.
everything. Okay. Action items.
All right, 5.1, Maya.
Good afternoon again. The first item I have, items 5.1 through 5.5. The first one, 5.1, is to award the bid for the corner truck insert to BSI Equipment in the amount of $85,524.48. They awarded the full bidder, and this is a budgeted item.
Okay, I have a motion to accept the 2021 budgeted item.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
The next item, 5.2, is to approve the agreement with Cybergenetics. This is for the district attorney's office. This is a renewal agreement. It's for expert consultation and forensic lab services on an as-needed basis.
Again, this is a budget item for this year. I have a motion to accept.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Next item, 5.3, is to approve the lease agreement with Gateway Leslie. Again, this is an approved for a budget item. And what we're going to do is have a 2.5% increase for a 2-year contract.
Okay, and this is for the magistrate's office in Jersey Shore, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. I have a motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So carried.
At 5.4, is to approve the memorandum of understanding with West Branch Drug and Alcohol for the prevention and case management and treatment of juvenile probation clients. These funds come out of Act 198 funds, which is specifically designated for substance abuse education, which are basically fines assessed on individuals who are driving under the influence or commit drug offenses. So these are particularly used funds that must be used for education purposes.
Okay. And this is also a budget item for 2021. Have a motion to
That's
accept.
correct.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
At 5.5, it's the same memorandum of understanding with West Branch for Act 198 funds, with the exception, this is for the assessment and treatment of adult DUI and or drug offenders.
And again, a budgeted item for this year. And can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
And the last item, 5.6, is to acknowledge the list of contracts that were below 10,000 and approved by the Director of Administration for the month of October, and there were 13 contracts.
Okay. Any questions on those contracts? Hearing none, can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Thank you, Maya.
And thank you.
5.7, Mark Haas.
Morning, Mark.
Morning.
Good afternoon. Let's hope it's not evening before we get out of here.
I'm here today to ask for approval to submit an application for the Municipal Assistance Program grant through the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. The reason we need to do this is to upgrade our zoning and subdivision and land development ordinances to make them more conducive to businesses, to make them simpler to understand, to make it easier to develop here in the county. The ordinances were crafted approximately 20 years ago, and we have done amendments to the ordinances, but it's basically become a patchwork, okay, of the ordinances. We would like to create a more concise ordinance that people can look at and say, yeah, I can do this and I can develop here in Lycoming County. We will be performing outreaches through all of the municipal, all of our partnership townships and boroughs, and yeah, we're asking for approval.
How many townships do we have? 52?
52, I think it is.
52 municipal entities,
Yeah.
plus I think the city of
City, yeah.
Williamsport.
It's
So-
included in that.
Oh, it's included in the 52.
So this, I don't want to say regulates, but is 21 townships out of the 52 are in our partnership, correct?
20 townships now for zoning.
20 townships. Okay, so
Somewhere.
here's what's really important, and I think sometimes we miss the target, is that there are more as far as businesses. I mean, we hear this time and time again, that there are businesses that suffer trying to go through the process of not only our ordinances, our zoning, but then DEPs and FEMA's, and all of a sudden, they've got 2 years in just paperwork. This is ridiculous. We need to focus on every municipality. We need to bring in these additional stakeholders. We need to develop a consistent plan that can be accepted by all the entities and have them laid out in a manner that tells them this is when, this is how. And if we don't utilize the technology that we have right now, instead of every fourth Wednesday that we meet here, darn it, we can do Zoom meetings. We can do things to speed up this process. God only knows Pennsylvania is lacking in what's happening as far as our business permits and whatnot. Let's see if we can get this improved and bring all those agencies in and see how we can combat this and make our area, our region, a lighthouse for the rest.
It's a serious concern. It really is.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the initiative to reach out to find that grant and to do it, because it's been of concern to all of us.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All fair say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried.
5.8, Nancy Act.
Morning, I gotta get straight, afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Same morning, afternoon. Thank you.
The JPO is asking for your approval for the renewal of our contract with DTA, located in 3 locations, Lewisburg, Turberville, and Cole Township. Specialized foster care and all their outpatient programs, there was no rate change, but as I'm sure you're seeing, the residentials, there was an increase. Tried everything I could to get them down, so we did a lateral here, and we locked them in for 3 years with these rates.
So that's a big increase, almost 33%.
Absolutely. That's why I locked them in for 3 years.
I guess they're having increased costs as they try to run these centers.
And we really need DTA. We use them very heavily.
And to your credit, Nancy, you are very good at negotiating with these agencies over time, so.
I wanted to get them down, but I couldn't get them to move, so I just locked them in as best I could.
Thank you. All right, do you have any kids down there at any of these locations?
Yes. One is at Montour Learning Center, and one is at actual DTA, and we have a host of them, I think 2 of them right now, doing outpatient services. So we have about 4 kids total right now.
So one in Montoursville, 2 doing outpatient, and 1 in
2 are in residential, and 2
Oh.
are doing outpatient services.
Okay.
The counselings.
Okay, any other questions? On the motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Thank you.
Carried, thank you.
5.9, Leslie Patrick.
Hi, Leslie.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. We're asking your approval to just pay our invoice for our Mitel service support. This support allows us to have, this agreement allows us to have support on all of our phone systems, all the district justices, RMS, Department of Public Safety, the courthouse.
Any questions on this?
And it is in the budget for this year.
I'll move to approve.
And the amount? And just for the record, the amount?
The amount is $11,120.70.
And it is a budget item?
It is budgeted, yeah.
Great, thank you. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 5.10, Commissioners seeking your approval to appoint Steve Brady to the zoning hearing board.
Okay.
Initially, we had another individual, but we found out that there was a complication with that, so we're just going to go with Steve Brady today.
Dr. Brady.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to thank Dr. Brady for putting his name forward, and we're looking forward to his expertise coming forward onto the zoning board, and he's definitely an asset of the community.
Oh, not only that, I mean, this man predicted what was going to happen to the United States. It was quite impressive.
It was.
I'll take his word over anybody that I've seen in our government right now. He did a phenomenal job in letting us know, beware.
Yeah, we want to welcome him and thank him. And just so the other gentleman doesn't think that the problem is that you have to live within one of the municipalities that's part of the zoning partnership. As we mentioned earlier, there are 20 municipalities.
Yeah.
So you have to live within one of them. So we need to work that out with the gentleman.
And
So
Nate,
don't
we
want him to
apologize.
think that-
We apologize to you, but
Yes,
we're going to find you an appointment here
Right.
at the county, trust me.
He's an
because-
excellent candidate.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate both of these people giving their time to the community.
And all our applicants that we received a bunch lately, and it's great to see people want to be involved in the community and the different authorities, and looking forward to them working with us in the future. So thank you for each one of them. So can I have a motion to accept Dr. Brady?
I'll move to approve.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. 5.11, vote to approve David Jane Gilmore to the Lycoming County Authority.
Okay, we're very excited to see Dr. Gilmore put her name in for the zoning authority. We contacted her. She's looking forward to
Lycoming County.
Lycoming County Authority, and bringing her expertise to the county. And she will definitely be a huge asset and assisting us going forward. So we want to thank Dr. Gilmore for her interest.
And so for the public, the Lycoming County Authority is the entity through which certain organizations, nonprofits, educational, healthcare institutions are able to seek bond funding through this municipal entity, through this county entity, and get favorable rates.
Can I have a motion to accept Dr. Gilmore on the Lycoming County Authority?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Thank you to Dr. Gilmore.
5.12, Commissioners seeking your approval for the Job Creation Incentive Program with West Pharmaceutical, pending program language.
We don't have
Where's that?
anything. We don't have any paper in front of us.
No, we don't. Conceptually.
Okay.
I mean, pending the final program language.
Yeah. I think it's difficult for us to vote on something we don't have in front of us, which I'm sure, Mr. McDermott, I'm sure you recognize. Maybe there's a way here, you know,
I think this was...
we talked about providing $500,000 maybe through Act 13, and I'm wondering if today, that's a pretty easy, there's a couple things. If the money's coming out of the ARP, we just heard that you need to apply. That's like the Muncie Legion came and asked us, but obviously they need to apply, and then we need to make the decision. So if the first $500,000, what I'm wondering is today if we can commit through Act 13 the $500,000.
See, here's my recollection of that conversation that we had up at the Wheeling Center.
Yeah.
That night, okay? Is that the fire department, that entity, was going to experience a lack of money, that they weren't going to receive that much money for that building.
From West?
Not from West.
Okay.
I mean, they're only going to pay what they feel that the property's valued at. And so, but they wanted much more. So, I mean, the fire department, so they could initiate that development. When we were there, it was my assumption that we were there to help fund the fire company receive those funds, needed funds to make this happen, okay? It really, in my opinion, didn't have anything to do with West Pharmaceutical whatsoever. It had to do with the sale of the property, and could they afford to take that money from the sale and put it towards another project. At that time, they were probably short about $300,000 to $400,000. I think we had made a commitment. We had originally we were thinking about giving them $200,000, and at that time we decided, you know, maybe we better increase that sale price for economic development, okay, but within the borough of Jersey Shore. And there's where I think there's a little bit of miscommunication or what we thought was going through. So that $500,000 for me had nothing to do with West, even though West was involved in that transition as far as the purchase, because they did pay for that building, just not what the...
So I had a little different recollection.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
So we were meeting with Mr. Fink from the Chamber, and Mr. Fink told us that West Pharmaceutical wanted to expand. The land that they wanted to expand on happened to be next door to their plant, which was great, except that it was owned by the fire company, and the fire company had their social hall on it, the Wheelan Center. And could we go up there, and while it's true that West wasn't at the meeting, but for the fact that West wanted the land to expand, I'm not sure that the fire company would have said, let's tear down this building and sell the land. I don't think that the fire company had any intention of tearing down the building and selling the land. So we went and we spoke about the fact that, and they were very gracious, the fire company, and we said, look, the county will try to do what it can to help by facilitating West's expansion, and West only wanted to pay a certain amount, and you and I back and forth talked with them about how much it was going to cost, and we said, now it's not, nothing happens until we vote on it, but we made our public support known, and I said that I would give $500,000 to facilitate West's expansion, and I think they were going to create 30 or 40 jobs. No? How many? Up in Jersey Shore.
For Jersey Shore, it's 100 jobs.
It's 100 jobs in Jersey Shore.
100 jobs for Jersey Shore.
Okay, so that was going to facilitate 100 jobs, that buying that land. And so I immediately said, and you agreed, you know what, if we can do that with the 500,000 and get 100 jobs, let's do it. Now again, we had to vote on it and everything.
I wasn't there.
He wasn't there. So, and that's only two people voicing their opinion, right? And people can change their opinions, whatever. But, so anyway, I guess what I'm suggesting is, because this other thing is tied into ARP, if it's going to be ARP, then in all fairness to all the other entities that apply, we should do that all as part of the ARP. You know, the other 500,000. And maybe what we want to do is sit down and look at some sort of economic development program that also involves, we've had other businesses come to us who need help to expand, and see if we can't find a way to wrap it all together. I mean, at the end of the day, all three of us want to get as much bang for the buck as we can. I'm certainly willing today to entertain a motion on voting on an Act 13 allocation for the West expansion in Jersey Shore and get that thing put to rest. And then if we want to come back, if they want to come back, they can apply through the ARP with the 500,000, because we don't have a program in front of us. And we just said to people in the public, the deadline is the December 31st. We had a group come to us, the Muncie Legion.
Yes, but this has been in the works.
Well, it's been a discussion.
Well, I just,
Jason, you like to go?
yeah, if you don't mind,
Yes,
just
yes.
to clarify some stuff,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's a lot.
Just state your name.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jason Fink with the Chamber of Commerce. Just to clarify a little bit more on what was being asked. Last summer, when we met up in Jersey Shore, that money, the $500,000 figure that is being thrown out there, was to assist the fire company with being able to replace what they were going to lose, in addition to adding some features to their facilities there. The $500,000 that is being proposed today is actually part of a discussion that we also were having last summer for a job creation program to incent new job creation here in Lycoming County. And this funding was also taking place with West through their consultant that they had brought on board, who we met with via Zoom to discuss Williamsport as well as Jersey Shore, and that they were also going after state assistance through the Governor's Action Team. That funding through the Governor's Action Team, along with the county's commitment of $500,000, was to secure not only the 29 jobs and the $18 to $20 million expansion that is scheduled to take place next year here in Williamsport, but also was pulling in the 100 jobs that are taking place in Jersey Shore. This is specific for West and what was being looked at. The state, when they were looking at their Governor's Action Team investment for West for this project, also looked at their Phoenixville facility as well, because they were expanding there as well. So the $1.8 to $2 million that the state put into that project also factors in all their investment in Pennsylvania. The county's was to be able to match that $500,000 for the 29 jobs. And the discussion that we had was to be able to take and pay it out over 5 years, to be able to ensure that they met that level and they maintained that level over that 5-year period. So they were going to be paid $100,000 a year each year for 5 years. And that money, as the Commissioner Miravito said, was being looked at through Act 13 to be able to pull those funds. Now, there was also discussion while we were talking about this about it creating a larger pool of funds, because you're already making investments in other areas of the county as well. For example, the water line extension that's being done specifically for Digger. It's over $800,000 that's being invested by the county to be able to make that happen. So those were the discussions that we were having. We just, with everything that was going on, the program never got structured. Fast forward, the state actually made their Governor's Action Team award. If you recall, that announcement was made several months ago. And West is coming now at this point saying, we're in the process right now of getting the funding from the state, and we want to utilize our time and resources efficiently, and we want to make sure that we include the county information that we need to be able to document for you all as part of that. So that's where all of this is going. So
here's where I'm at on this. I would hate to see us pull up no vote simply because we don't have a written document, we don't know, we haven't decided where the money definitively coming from. I mean, you made a suggestion, Act 13. We don't know who can apply for it. We don't have anything nailed down. And I think that it would behoove us, just in terms of transparency, to put a program out there and then say to the public, listen, is this a good use of funds? I've expressed, I actually had suggested, and you and I had conversations along with Commissioners Massar and Metzger about, way back in 2020, about how could we get employers here.
Correct.
And you said, and we talked about it, and then I had a change of opinion because I saw employers coming here. It was after those conversations where we talked about providing money, those cash incentives.
Actually, that discussion with regards to West was last summer. That was prior to Digger coming here. We were talking to them.
It was prior to them. Right.
So we were talking, and when we discussed this with the consultant from West, there was the $500,000, and the structure of the program we were talking about was to be paid out over 5 years, right, to be able to ensure that they met that.
Right.
So
I have the letter with me.
And that letter is the decision, because if you recall, West was looking at offers from both North Carolina and Michigan to be able to site this project that's taking place here in Williamsport. And so from that aspect of it, they looked at everything from the state's offer as well as the discussions with the county, and they made the decision to go here in Williamsport for this expansion.
All right, so I was trying to explain something, and I graciously allowed you to interrupt me.
No.
So you're absolutely right. It was before we had, the discussion was before we had Digger in them. So what happened is, but we didn't have any, we had ideas we were kicking around. You produced a piece of paper and everything like that. We absolutely did not make a commitment to West. First of all, we can't make a commitment to West outside of a public vote of a meeting. So anyone, including West, who thinks that they had a commitment is either naive about that or just is ignorant. There was a letter sent in which we specifically said in the letter, we will not exclude you if we create a program. If we create a program, we will not exclude you. But we said we don't have a program yet. My whole point is, after those conversations, we had employers start to come to us. Digger came to us without any offer of money that we were going to give them. Let me finish. I know they're getting a KOZ and stuff like that, but they bought the land. The land had the KOZ on it for years, right?
Well, you're correct, but you're also investing over $1 million to bring infrastructure specific.
To the whole industrial park.
Well, the water line is specifically to Digger.
Right.
There's a water line already on there.
Yeah.
That's over $800,000.
I know. And Mr. Fink, we're going to invest in Jersey Shore to get more water to West, because our responsibility, that was one of the things I read off, right? That the Jersey Shore Water Authority needs about $800,000 to bring water to West and to Baldbird's Brewery. Right, Baldbird's Brewery, right? So we're going to invest that because we can't expect businesses to come if they don't have water, they don't have sewer, they don't have gas, and those kinds of things. So we all agree on that. But my point is that we had Digger come. We had, we thought Shopvac was closing, and then a Chinese company bought it. We thought JK Aluminum was going to be going on.
JW.
JW Aluminum, thank you. And then we had the gentleman from Florida come and purchase it. And Geisinger is opening a facility. So, my mind, I looked at the conditions and I said, why do we need to pay people to come here? They're coming. Now, having said that, there's absolutely no way, in my understanding, that the Jersey Shore Fire Company would have torn down and sold that building except that West wanted to buy it. They weren't out on a lark, let's go tear down the building. I mean, you came to us. And so, my only point is this. I feel like I made a public commitment to commit on a vote $500,000 to facilitate that wheel.
It wasn't on a vote.
No.
Done at a public meeting.
No, I said that I would vote. I made a public commitment that I would vote to support West's expansion of 100 jobs in Jersey Shore because I believe in economic development and I believe doing what we need to do with infrastructure, and I consider that land part of the infrastructure they needed to expand. They couldn't expand without that infrastructure there. So that's why I made it. The jobs program is like a whole nother issue, and all I'm suggesting is we ought to have a community conversation about whether we think we need to give money to companies to come. And then if we think that's the case, then let's set up a fund. Let's find a way for companies to apply to it instead of just on the rough here, voting something. When, especially if it's coming out of ARP, I mean, heck, we just told people that, there's an application there to fill out.
I don't even think ARP existed at the time we made it.
It didn't.
Right.
No, but is that where we're planning to get it from?
It was primarily from Act 13. And here's where, I respectfully disagree with my colleague, is that there were two separate issues, in my opinion. There were two separate issues. And although we didn't have a jobs program put together, we did have an outline. And that I believe that the general consensus at the time, because we had no victories. There were no victories. No jobs coming in here. No one buying property. Nobody saying they're going to create more jobs. And we made a commitment that we would do something as far as jobs. We would invest county money, county taxpayers' money, whether it came from the taxpayers' funds or the Act 13 fund, because they're the only funds that I knew that existed, to benefit our region. And more importantly,
I mean, as you take a look at the projects that happened across our county, very few dollars went to the western section of this county. And here, this was the first time that we really had an opportunity to help not only the municipality out and the fire department, because they were not going to sell that property to them. They just couldn't afford it. They didn't have enough money to build another facility. And so there is where my first commitment of the $500,000 had nothing to do with the jobs in the program. And then when we presented, and we discussed this in our own meetings, that we need to spur economic development, bring in jobs. How do we do it? Boom, we put something together. And I'm saying we committed to that idea. And at that time, you presented that to us. I'm assuming, and because I don't have it in writing, that you presented that to West, which made a decision based upon everything that they gathered from our meeting with the consultants to whatever other meetings that existed, right?
Correct.
That we were committed to that project, or that idea of being able to help bring them in. Why? There was no successes. This would be our first major success in this county in a long time, in a very long time. That's why I think that not only the $500,000 goes to the borough, to that building, that project, another additional $500,000 over the next 5 years should go to that job stimulus program.
Jason, I know you had a conversation with the mayor. He couldn't be here today.
Correct.
Could you explain what your conversation was with Derek and what he thought was the importance of this to the city of Williamsport?
Yeah, I can speak to this. The mayor spoke to me. First of all, he apologizes. He had other meetings and wasn't able to make it here today. He is very supportive of this investment to be able to make this happen here in Williamsport. It's not only going to be new jobs here in the city with the 29 new jobs, but more importantly, it's actually going to expand the tax base because of the fact that this will also entail a 12,000 square foot addition to the West facility on Reach Road that will entail roughly an $18 to $20 million investment by West Pharmaceuticals into the facility. So from his side of it, he respectfully requests that the county support this and move forward with it so that this is something that does not become a black eye for the community from that aspect of it, because there is concerns with regards to if this does not happen, how this will be viewed by West.
I just want to make a couple of remarks here. You know, we're going to have plenty of money to spend in the western part of the county. The loss you run is going to be $7.5 million to fix. And I named a couple. You're looking at least $800,000 to get water to West. And here's the thing, you know, with all due respect, this gentleman does not speak for the Board of the Commissioners. And the fact that you represented to West that this board was committed before this board took a public vote or even had a public discussion about it should not enter into our responsibility to the taxpayers. This is about protecting the taxpayers in the county and at the same time creating jobs. We can give West $500,000, and we can also say to West that's a generous amount of money from a poor county, because there's no question that the Jersey Shore Fire Department was not selling that land, except that they wanted to expand for jobs. I mean, that's like beyond, we went up there, they said to us, hey, you know, they want to expand and create jobs, and we're willing to sell it. So, you know, all I'm trying to say is that the first $500,000 coming from Act 13 is fine. I mean, there's another issue here. We need our cash, whether it's Act 13 especially, to match grants that we're going to want to get from the American Rescue Plan. We're not going to be able to use those federal funds. So my point is, if you're going to use $500,000 from the ARP funds, then the only fair thing to do is to have West apply and have their application be treated like the other applications, like we just told the Muncie Legion that they need to apply and
I have no issue with that.
With that?
I have no issue with that.
I mean, I'm okay with that. Yeah,
let's get it done.
And I'm happy today to do the Act 13 allocation for the first $500,000 for West expansion up there in Jersey Shore. And then let them apply on the others, and then we'll throw it in the mix with everything.
It wasn't on the agenda.
Oh, it wasn't on the agenda, okay, so then we can't do that, okay.
But is there a time frame, Jason?
Well, actually, while we were sitting here in the meeting, the consultant emailed me because he's not heard from the county since his outreach and wanted to know where everything's at. So they just need a response
Okay.
at this point. I mean,
All right.
it's out of fairness.
We'll make sure that's done soon. One way or the other.
Okay.
All right, so what do we want to do with 5.12?
Well, I think it would help us, first I think we should table it, and I think we should get something in writing that we get out so that the public can review it and the commissioners can review it. You know, get a written document that we put out there. And then I think we need to determine where it's going to be funded from. If it's going to be funded from Act 13, because other companies may apply, right? We're talking about setting up a program where companies can apply and get up to $100,000 a year, up to $500,000, right?
That was the initial discussion, if you refer to the letter that was provided to them.
Well, not the letter. We had a general discussion about a job creation program. We also talked about doing one for small businesses.
We did, exactly.
Right? So that
Yep.
it wasn't, so if we're going to put both of them out there, let's get the large and the small out there. Let's get feedback from the community on it and figure out how we're going to fund it. There's no...
I completely agree. Can we put a time frame on this? Because with all due respect, this has been something that we have been talking about since last summer, and we're now well into...
We'll put it on the agenda for November 30th. That's 2 weeks from today. We'll get it together.
Was this considered in our budget?
It's been talked about forever.
It's not in the
This
budget.
is not-
No, I wasn't aware of it
This is
until
not in the
today.
2022 budget.
And we need to make sure if we're gonna use Act 13 or ARP funds, that it meets the definition of what were allowable uses,
Yeah.
you know. for
So if we
those
have the
funds.
meeting on November 30th, we can make a decision, and if it's approved, they can be adjusted in the budget for the final budget.
And I'll say this, the Act 13 funds were set up in a manner for a number of things, to match funding and whatnot. But for the most part, it's at the discretion of the 3 county commissioners. We can pull funds from them in a heartbeat. All we have to do is have a vote. So I don't see a problem tabling this. I don't see a need that we have to have a comprehensive plan put together right away, because it's gonna take a little bit of time. Because we can look at it from a number of aspects, grant-driven or loan-driven.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So that we have the money coming back.
Right.
I assure you, there's plenty of businesses out there, large and small, that sit there and say, if it's the low interest or no interest loan that can get me started, bam, I'm good with it. Let me pay you back over 1 year, 2 year, 5 year. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. And we could sketch something out, Commissioner, and I think that what you raised about the loan is important, because we have requests from businesses on the loan issue, and I think that would be good. So maybe part of it is loan, part of it is grant, maybe we look at what qualifies.
You made a motion to table.
I know.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we'll table until November 30th.
Thank you.
At that time, we'll be in touch with you before that, and West Company to
Okay, thank you.
work out details.
All right, John Lavelle, you still on?
Yes. I'm here. All right.
Trooper.
The next item is the brick grant submission. What we're doing here is we're requesting funding to assist with the preliminary engineering costs associated with the Lost Run Culvert Replacement Project. The total estimated cost for this effort is $400,000. It's quite complicated, especially when considering that this is practically a 1,200-foot long bridge under the streets of Jersey Shore next to Allegheny Street. And this requires a local cost share of 25%. We do have funds budgeted for the Lost Run project.
Now this, Mr. Lavelle, this is to do the preliminary engineering?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This is basically get you up to a point that things that would make us we're competitive with other major grant sources. Obviously, we've tried with the feasibility study completed by the Borough of Jersey Shore already to apply for different DOT grants. And, they have concerns based on the readiness that we'd be able to meet the deadline, the requirements of the program. So what we're doing now is we're taking it a step farther, getting the preliminary engineering done. We think that's the best way to go before we start searching for additional funds, unless something could in the near future.
To put in perspective here, I think you told us the estimated engineering cost is, to do this is $400,000, right?
Preliminary engineering, yeah.
Yeah, preliminary engineering. The project is $7.5 million. That's the one that I alluded to. And for people who don't know, Loshy Run runs underneath Allegheny Street in Jersey Shore. It backs up, it's a culvert where water runs, and it backs up to foundations of houses and businesses. If the Loshy Run collapses, it takes with it a lot of houses and businesses. So although it seems like a lot of money for preliminary engineering, it's about 5.3% of the total cost. And basically it's to make sure that we have everything lined up correctly, right, when we go to do the project.
Yeah, it'll assess where the utilities are, which ones have to get moved, if there's any right-of-way acquisition requirements. Obviously, there's a gas station nearby. The environmental permitting will have to be taken care of, see if we can get exemptions for other types of environmental permits. There's a lot going on here. It is an extremely complicated project.
Yeah. Now, you've worked long and hard on it, and it's certainly very important, not only to the people in Jersey Shore, but to the people in the rest of the county. It should be. Even if you don't live there.
All right.
Okay, need a motion. A motion?
I'll move to approve the brick grant application.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So
514, Lauren Strasser.
Hello again. Seeking approval for calendar year 2020 904 Recycling Performance Grant Nation of 13,632 tons that were recycled in Montgomery County. This grant is only for Lycoming County recyclables, residential and commercial, for Act 101 eligible items. And just for frame of reference, in 2019, we're down from previous year because 2020 was when we had COVID and had to close our operations for a month, and then we did eliminate 5 drop-offs, and then 1 additional drop-off did close as well. So we're down about 1,400 tons from the prior year. And then also for a frame of reference for time-wise for receiving this grant back for calendar year 2019, just last week I received notification from the DEP Grant Center that they just submitted in for payment for 2019, and that was at $150,606. So this year, for 2020, we had 13,600 tons being submitted.
Excellent.
Any questions? Motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 So carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.
Recess Commissioners' public meeting at this time, and we'll convene the Board of Assessments.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Morning,
This is
Brooke.
Brooke Wright from the Assessment Office. I
Yes.
have taken your approval for 2 refunds. The first one is Paul Ober, 2012 Irrevocable Trust. The value was changed due to the real estate appeal that was filed on the change of assessment notice that was issued in November of 2020. He paid his taxes in protest for the year, and he went before the Board of Assessment in October of 2021. He is due a refund of amount in $409.72. My next refund is for Lycoming Mall Realty Holding LLC. The value was changed on the parcel due to a court order, which was from a real estate appeal in 2020. The refund amount is $79,000 $79,005.88.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
That's a big amount of tax revenue. You can see what we're facing here. So they have a right to appeal and they have a right to a reduction if their assessed value is determined to be in excess of the value, correct, Brooke?
Yes, that's correct, Commissioner, but also keep in mind that this is the Lycoming Mall, and the occupancy rate is dropping.
Oh, I understand,
The
yes.
stores are leaving at the mall, and that's
Right.
why value's dropping, and that's
Right.
why they appealed.
No, I understand that, and the value is driven on the income, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So if the rents if there are not enough rents there and the rents go down, the assessed value goes down, the income goes down, the value. Brooke, what's your recommendation on these?
I'm sorry, my recommendation is approval for those refunds.
Okay.
Thanks, Brooke.
Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Motion?
I'll move to approve both refunds.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried. Okay, we'll adjourn the Board of Assessment at this time and reconvene the Commissioners' public meeting. Board of Commissioners' comments, is there any?
Go ahead. No, the only thing I want to say is I hope that we can get together on this proposal that we're going to put together for the, I'd like to make sure that we include the loan possibility. If we want to do a grant possibility, that we have some criteria, which we do have some about repaying it. We get something out there that can last beyond just this one incident and maybe spur some other activity.
I agree, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Public comment this time? Yes, Frank?
That's it. Stand.
Okay, please come on up.
A couple comments quick, because I know it's been a long meeting. I wanted to congratulate you people, commissioners, on one item here, as far as the Democratic item. Last time I went to a public meeting at the City Council, they have a new venue, which is 5 times bigger than this place. That, I don't want to describe them, but Allison, who's the president of the council, sat there with no mask on, and nobody on, and when I condemn council, I condemn the majority because they are in control. Nobody on council had a mask on. They have a huge venue. They could separate people 10 feet apart, and he concluded all public meetings. And I'm sure, in my opinion, it had nothing to do with COVID. It had everything to do with people coming in and condemning him and others, including myself, for their, in my opinion, their absolute lack of any. I mean, I've gone in there and given them examples of crimes being committed under the city watch, and they just ignored it. They didn't do anything about it. The Sun News, that doesn't bother the printer. Why would they? And it's just the most ridiculous. It's unbelievable. Nobody that ever took a civics course will look at this and say, "How this is like less than some kind of comical TV show." All right. Now that I'm giving you guys credit for that. I hope it doesn't change tomorrow because people like me are coming in and condemning something to do. Now, on the other hand, the 800-pound gorilla in the corner of the room, Mr. Metzger, you brought it up, Commissioner Metzger. You said that our county is like the bottom of the heap in the state for economic development, et cetera. I would like to bring up something that you never hear and never want to hear, but the fact of the matter is, your political party, if I'm not mistaken, has owned this commissioner's office for my entire life. Okay? No? Well, if there was a democratically, if there were more than 2 other people on this commission other than your party in my lifetime, believe me, it was very brief. I mean, we went 30 years without a Democratic mayor, very close. We went 30 years without a Democratic representative, very close. Congressman Earl was the last Democrat we had until the Dimmick experience with Mark, and I can't remember his last name. That was like 30 years. So you people have been in complete control, basically. If I go to this county courthouse, I only know 2 Democrats in this courthouse right now, or 2 people that aren't Republicans anyway. And one of them's sitting here, and the other one's Forrest Lehman. Okay?
I take issue with that.
Well, all right, but I guarantee you it's a vast majority.
How do you know?
I'm just guessing that everything else I've
You can't
seen.
guess and make a statement like
Oh,
that.
well, how do you know?
That's right, we don't.
Oh, well, then maybe we should know.
I'm a registered Democrat.
Well, congratulations, I'm off, but
Thank
you
you.
can't, you can't deny that the elected officials in the representatives, I mean, we had, Mr. Mirabia was the last one, very few, almost entirely have been a one party. I mean, right now, they're all one party.
Frank, I'm here for everybody.
That's.
I have Democratic friends.
I understand.
They voted for me, and I'll hear them.
I understand.
And I'll hear anybody who wants to speak.
I understand, but when you control.
All right, do you have anything else?
Yeah, when you control
Yeah.
the.
Do you have anything else?
There was another thing, now that I got heated up and now I can't remember what it was. But, well, there was another thing, but I really don't remember what it was, so. Those are the two main ones. I sat here for 3 or 4 hours and,
Thank you for being here.
yeah, thanks.
Okay, anybody else?
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Can I just ask, who
Yes,
is
come up here, please.
Dr. Brady?
You have to step up here, please. You ask who Dr. Brady is?
Yeah.
It's Steve Brady. He actually owns the Convention Center. Covation Center. I mispronounced. Covation Center. It's over next to the brewery, what's the name?
Oh, okay.
Bullfrog.
By Woodlands Bank.
Yeah, which
Okay.
deals with small businesses and entrepreneurships.
Okay,
We're
thank you.
excited to have him aboard. Okay, thank you.
And the other question I have, we'd just be here the rest of the day probably,
Okay.
so I'll hold off.
Thank you. Okay. At this time, we've concluded our public meeting, and we do not have one next week because we will be at CCAP. And I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and blessed Thanksgiving. We have much to be thankful for in this country, and especially in this county. We have seen growth in our county in the last year. We're excited about that going into next year. And welcome those new neighbors as they come and join our community. So looking forward to our next meeting on November 30th at 10 a.m. Thank you and have a good day.
Have we ever had a meeting this long?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just.
Really?
One other one.
Longest meeting. I
This was
can't
4
believe we're
hours
still
and
here.
29 minutes.
Is it Jasmine?
That one time we didn't have
That too.
the budget, we recessed, they ate back after lunch.
Okay, all right. Who's the 1:30 with?
10 and then 9 and 2. Call it.
Yeah, you gotta go.
There's